Go for it.
Okay.
Hey
I'll do it. Are you
everybody,
ready, Molly?
welcome back to the Dragon Quest Tactics podcast, where we can't do a hard open worth shit. All right, so we're here with Nib again. Things have been crazy. We're glad to have him back. He was number 2 on Arena, not number 1 because number 1 had to be someone we never heard of, and he appeared out of nowhere in the Discord after he became number 1. But even the whole week leading up, he didn't even really start talking in the Discord. So I thought that was kind of interesting. But you were supposed to be on last week, along with Jax, right? And Jax canceled on us, and then we had the huge update, and we pushed you back to this week. And things have just nonstop been crazy since. How have you been, Nib?
Doing okay, guys. Yeah, crazy. It's a crazy time. I hope to bring some calming, moderating voice to DQT tonight. Um, earlier I said I was vinegary, so I will try and temper that a little bit. Because there are a lot of subjects that are potentially um, kind of spicy subjects that's been going on in the community and with various content creators. And they hit home because people are spending money and time on this, and so it's a game, but it's still important, I guess, in a sense. So people feel very strongly about what's happening. So I hope we can clear some things up tonight. Get a little adults back in the room.
Speaking of adults, how are you holding up, Platt?
I don't like that title of adult. I'm a content creator, which means my dream is to beg for money on the internet. So I'm a child at best. But how am I doing? I'm actually doing great. I really like these battle roads. I think they're super fun, and they're taking up all my game time. Like, I'm not even using all my stamina properly or anything, other than when I have to like level up some abilities and use tomes. But like, it's like I kind of wish the whole game was just more battle roads of this thing that kind of progressed. But also, like, I like puzzle games and stuff like that, and they're basically just big fun puzzles that are hard to brute force. Like, you can kind of brute force them, but even if you get all the units rank 6 with good equipment, all abilities plus 10, which would be ridiculous, they're still hard to do deathless unless you practice it a couple times without a guide at least.
They are hard, even with a guide.
Yeah, you got to think about each move, or just follow a guide and do it exactly as they do.
Yeah, because then they just, it's like having guides is important. Like, I probably will use some guides to help me make my content for some of them because it's just such a time commitment. Like, it's taken me, I don't know, like 6 hours of real life time just doing the Draki stage over and over again. All right, this ability needs to be a little bit stronger. Okay, this setup doesn't work. Okay, on the 4th move, I can't move here. Like, so just this problem solving thing. And I don't know if I want to do that in 9 more times, because then the content becomes less practical as people find other guides and just complete it. So
Yeah,
I'll probably use something to help me out.
you don't want to do
I
that.
think it bears saying that that's. I mean, we have to remember that's one of the positive things about this game, which is going to be relevant for the topics tonight throughout. Is why are we playing even though there's all this gloom and doom and chicken little type stuff going on? The battle roads, they have great rewards, and people need to remember that. Guess what doesn't have great rewards is, like, if you beat Prison Peacock, the X fight, you just get an icon. Who gives a shit? For the battle roads, you get really good armor and you get mini medals, which leads you to really good stuff. So they've given you the power rewards on things that a free to play can beat. So you know what I mean? Whereas the flexing bragging rights type stuff is the hyper whale territory. So I mean, that brings in calls into the question: what are players entitled to when they play a game like this? And is there different levels of entitlement based on what you spend? Are you entitled to clear all of the content, even the purely flex stuff that has no real impact on your account power? Or is that something that you should be expected to pay for? You know what I mean? So, in regards to battle roads, they got it spot on, and people need to be more thankful about that, frankly.
I think battle roads is the best part of the game, period, at least for me personally. Like, I just had the most fun with it, and it's like a double-edged sword, because how many times I'm like, God, I really wish this had an S unit in this battle road so I can get all that free experience. But then the battle roads would be like Battle Road 8. I don't want to know how hard it would be if it had an S unit, you know? Like they have it balanced so well for the party of units they give you. Like it's really difficult, but it's like you could tell like they went through and they figured out exactly what kind of thresholds you would be able to hit if you max out these units.
Yeah.
And so yeah, no, battle roads are fantastic, and I'm actually happy that it's like a godsend to free to play because you have B units or gotcha B units, but everyone's going to have those by now, and if you don't, you're new, you'll have them in a couple weeks time, I'm sure.
Yeah. Yeah. No one doesn't have Stone Golem. No one doesn't have, you know, gotcha C units, of course. So unless you're brand spanking new. So
Yeah, I definitely do want to bring up how well they tuned the arena. They made it just challenging enough where, like, if you max out the level on S6 on all of the units and you upgrade their abilities to like 6, you will be able to beat it, whether you're using a guide or just taking a lot of your own time. This was an inopportune time for Jax to disappear because he's the only other person who makes guides, right? So like Platt now has all this
Yeah.
pressure to make guides, and me as a person who loves to use the guides, because I like to maximize my real world time by not spending 6 hours working on trying to clear one battle road. I like to wait
right.
until they come out, but this time I didn't have a choice because they put the juicy two orbs, right? Two iridescent orbs in front of us,
You have
so
to
I
clear
had to
two
find a way
battle
to get
roads
them.
to get them. Yeah.
Yeah, with no
Yep.
deaths, right? Which
Yeah.
I found very
And
difficult.
let's not lie, Jax made guides way faster than I do, right? Like he wasn't a like I'm trying to be a content creator, which means consistent daily uploads and not overflowing people's sub feeds and making them unsubscribe because maybe they forgot they subscribed to me, blah blah blah. But like Jax would just be like, hey, new content's out tomorrow. I'm gonna have 4 guides out, you know, and then I'm gonna have another 3 guides out. Then they maybe wouldn't have stuff for a while. But you know, he was better for that kind of stuff for players that wanted immediately get it all done.
Yep.
Speaking of Jax, I was hoping we could kind of hit the elephant in the room. So I mean, we can talk about Arena, we can talk about the tier list that I made. But I think just the biggest thing right now is the combination of Jax leaving and the video by Chaos Games. I think not that I don't want to scapegoat that video or him, of course. I thought I agreed with a lot of the stuff in his video. But I think that kind of triggered this weird feeling we all have now about the game. And right after that video came out, there were so many just frantic, panicky posts in the Discord about how, I'm not going to spend until after 6 month anniversary because we'll see if they even keep the game open. They're just going to milk us for all of our worth for the 6 months and then shut the game down, stuff like that. And frankly, this kind of ties into a lot of other things that's been going on in the Discord. How do you know that? Like, on what authority can you make these claims? And side note, I would say that about so many things that are being said in the Discord about like which unit is good or not. But you know, generally speaking, my opinion, and again, I'm just some guy, I'm not some special authority, is that people are way, way overblowing um, these things. And part of it is players have a lot of the players in this game, or at least the ones that are active in the Discord, have a very different expectation than what probably they should for a gotcha game. You can only really expect so much, and you have to temper your expectations, knowing that this is the way things are going to be, and people are just like, I want this and that and that and that, and it's just like,
Right. And
if you're going to have developers listen to you, you have to come up with solutions that they can work with. You can't just say, oh, we need more gold and we need more orbs, and that's the problem. That's why the game is going to fail. Well, not really. That's just your personal anecdotal experience.
right. I gotta slow you down, Nib.
So
You're covering too much stuff. Too much stuff. All right. So
yeah,
a
I
bunch of
know, I
great
know, I know.
stuff, and we'll hit all this stuff over the course of this episode. But let's go
Yeah.
back to Jax. All right. So elephant in the room.
Okay.
Jax. The three of us probably were closer or talked more to Jax than everybody that's gonna watch this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I have decided exactly how much I think we should share with from the authority of me behind my keyboard. You know what I mean? But so how about Platt covers what the public perception of what's going on with Platt to keep everybody up to? Sorry, Jax. For those who don't know what happened with Jax, and then we'll kind of roll from there.
I think. Well, I mean, I guess I can't speak. I'm not the whole public. I'm just me. But from what I've seen, I feel like people think that he cut and run, that he sold his account.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any evidence for that. Other like, it's weird that his YouTube channel's gone and that he's ghosted without any words, right? And so it's very easy to start putting that in, like to assume, I guess, the worst. Especially since it seems like his account is still active, under a different
Yes.
name, if I recall.
Rather active.
So
Yeah,
Number 4
Comanche.
last week.
So
Yeah,
is
he
the
was
accounts remaining
picking.
active, even though they've ghosted. So it feels like a sell. Like at least that I totally understand that perspective, but I don't want to assume when I have no actual evidence,
Okay.
because he could very easily just have been like told, given an ultimatum by his wife or something. It's like, hey, you don't do this content creation thing. You're spending too much time on it. Just play in your free time or something.
Right. So you did a good job covering that. Now I'm going to go deep into the Jax lore. Okay.
Okay.
So the first thing I want to go over is the backstory, right? So we know from the first podcast that I did with him that his normal username is Comanche, which is this new username, right?
Mhm.
Secondarily, that he played too much of Wotiv, which Nib also played, and his wife asked him to like stop playing the game because it was taking up too much of his time. So we know those two things as far as backstory, on top of the fact that Jax is rather wealthy and has a good government job, and he needed government clearance or job clearance to be able to open his channel in the first place, right? So that's why he couldn't show his face on camera and all of that fun stuff. So we know those things to be fact. And then
Interesting.
the
That's
day of the podcast, which all three of us are in a group chat that with Jax, right? So and he let it be revealed that there was a COVID case in his family, right, and that he was going to have to take some time to deal with that. So I think that's as far as I want to go covering that topic. But we do know that that's what happened. So it would not be out of the realm for something like that to be very serious, the health of your family, to kind of reassess what your values for your time is and kind of say, all right, maybe making content, spending all this time in the community is not what I want to spend my time doing.
Right.
If you get a request from your wife under this circumstance, are you going to say no?
Of course not.
Of course not. Like the only pushback I have against that is how weirdly it was executed. From like I don't consider him like my best friend or anything like that, but like he was pretty tightly knit, and it was so like boom, not even like sorry guys, I'm gonna have to be DL for a while, or like it was just very weird in the way that it happened. I'm not trying to seed sows of doubt that he's just like, maybe he just gave his son the account or something, right? And maybe he like gave up or something.
His son is like 5.
Okay, well, I don't know. I'm just like putting things. There's a lot of like reasons that it could be. I'm trying to give him benefit of the doubt, for sure. And I think it's very reasonable that he probably just cut back severely the amount of time he invested in it. But the lack of communication and the suddenly deleting of all, like maybe the government came in and was like, you're done. Maybe they're like, you don't have clearance to do this anymore or something like that. Who knows?
It is a possibility that they could have came in and said, listen, we don't like you in this role, in this community, and you have to stop. And then all of a sudden he'd have to delete those accounts, which means he couldn't say really goodbye. Or maybe he could, but he just didn't want to risk it or whatever. And then I think Nib is the perfect person to talk about the next point, which is what's the odds that he sells his account to some random person who happens to get top 4 in Arena for the week 1?
Incredibly slim. And I followed his progress from Jax to Comanche through the whole week because I was, trying to get first myself. And he actually, as Jax, did not do well. Which is I mean, who would have expected Jax not to do the best out of like anybody? He was so knowledgeable and skilled about the game. But I think he got like a 350 on the first day, which is for perspective, perfect as a 384. So that puts you pretty much out of the running. And guess what? I mean, I think he got like maybe 370 the next day. And then he continued to get either 380 or 384 every day for the rest of the week. So we know, and this is where I separate myself as an authority. This is just facts. No opinions. We know that he performed exceedingly well after the first couple of days. Um, and now, what are the chances that if he sold his account, that somebody, um, knowing that Jax has, purely from an account power perspective, one of the best or strongest in the game, um, you got fully awakened S units, and so um, he's going to do well regardless. But you not only have to have a top account, but you have to really know what you're doing. And so the odds that somebody bought his account or that his 5-year-old son took over his account and still got a 380 to a 384 every single day for the last 5 days of that week, almost no chance. There is no chance that that happened. When these accounts get sold, they usually get taken over by either, I mean, sometimes it's by just an enthusiastic fan who, um, maybe they quit and they're coming back to the game, and so they know a lot about the game and they just want to start, ground running right away. So they'll buy Jax's account. But the game's not old enough for that, you know? Sometimes it's going to be an abject newbie
Mm-hmm.
who is big on money but not on knowledge, and so they'll buy Jax's account, but they're sure as hell not going to score perfect in arena, because that takes knowledge. Um, or it's going to be a farmer. It's going to be someone from Russia or China, who is going to, use the account, buy it cheaply, and then build it up over time and try and sell it to some sucker for a lot more. So yeah, I mean, that it was. I was so annoyed with the Discord saying that, following their train of thought for how it surely had to have been a sold account because surely somebody could have scored perfectly in the arena, and I just think that that was Jax. There's no way it was not Jax. I mean, there's a chance, a 1 in a million chance that some Chinese farmer is that good at arena, but I mean, Occam's razor here applies, I think.
Yeah, and I want to apply a second level to this. So we know the first day he didn't do well, and that was also the day he found out about what was going on with his family, and
Yeah,
he had took a nap and to wake up to play this, and then he didn't touch the game for the rest of the day, right? And his CP didn't even move that day, so we
yep.
know that much, and then we also know you hit the perfect like you said. To put that in perspective for how many players even have the skill that play the game in global, and I know people might say like maybe a Japanese player could have done it, sure, but as far as global players, I am probably one of the more like inside the 99.9% like knowledgeable people in the game, and I'm still not good enough. I mean, my account's not nearly as good as Jack's, but I'm still not really pulling top 10 numbers, you know what I mean? And my account's pretty good. Like you'd have to be
Yeah, I
better
mean,
than me to use Jack's account. And there are people out there, but I just don't think there's more than 50 people out there that could use Jax's account and get 84s every day.
I think the only way it's a sold account is it, like you said, if it's a Japanese player, who, and why would you do this? He wants to buy a really good global account. I mean,
like
literally, that's the only all other option.
I don't think that's like I'm not. This is I don't think it's what happened. But in terms of it potentially happening to other people, like I don't think it's that crazy for a Japanese player because we already see the leaderboards have a lot of people that aren't native to at least the English speaking world. So I don't think it'd be crazy if someone felt like they were too far behind in Japan and wanted to get up ahead and be a big dog in global. But in Jax's case, I actually think one of the best defenses is the name change, where there's no way someone would buy his account and then use another name known to be associated with that character, right? With that guy. Like, right? Like you would change the name to be something no one would recognize, and people would have to just guess if that account is his or not, if that's what happened.
It's like lightning striking 3 times in the same place. It's not gonna happen.
Yep. So there you guys have it from three people who know more than anybody else knows about the situation. We don't really know enough, right? We just know that he kind of ghosted after he couldn't make the podcast last week. Um, and we've told you what we know. So moving forward, what was the next part? Nib did say a lot of things in a row. Is the next thing you want to talk about what a player deserves to have in the game?
I
Um,
I, I want to. Can I put a period on the Jax thing as well, just really
No,
quick?
please.
I just wanted to say, like, also, like, the fact that he had bad arena, not bad, but relatively not good arena results the first day, and then the second day was a little bit better, and the last day was even better. Like, to me, that's quintessential Jax, where, like, I think he really had good reasons for not doing very good in Arena the first day, beyond even just, like, the family and tired stuff. Like, when you don't have your hands on something, you're going in with, his research on the Japanese meta, which is just different than ours. And so he may have very well just not been well equipped knowledge-wise for our meta, but he's the kind of person that learns and adapts really quick because he's really good at the game. So like it would only take a fight or two for him to totally adjust his strategy to totally like get that nailed down to be again the best, because he would see what's not working and know what he needs to fix.
I
Makes
agree.
sense. I agree with that.
And a dead ghost really costs you a lot of points, right? And that's even happened to Alti, or did that happen to you, Nib?
That happened to me. That's the reason I didn't get number one because my ghost did nothing except die, and I lost 8 points, and then I ended up losing first place by 4 points at the end of the week. So, damn you, Shanes!
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Ghost
so
sucks,
just,
man. Ghost sucks in Arena. I feel like maybe I'm wrong, but I don't know.
Yeah, just to double address, because I'm tired of people talking trash, because he was a really good friend of ours while he was around, right? I mean, we spent a lot of time talking to him and everything. He's a good guy.
Fun. I liked him a lot.
So
Yeah,
he did admit to spending like more than 10 or 15,000 on Wotiv, and then literally just walking away when his wife asked him to, right? Cold turkey, walked away from the game. And he didn't want to say how much he made, but I guarantee you, based off of the things he told me and me understanding, because I work in the government too, he makes over $200,000. So this did not hurt him a bit, because he didn't even spend that much, maybe 5K on the game. You know what I mean? So he does have the ability to walk away. If he did want to walk away, he could have sold whatever, and he could still be playing right now. But we just wanted to give you guys the best information that we could.
Yeah. Wish nothing but the best for Jax, for sure. I hope he comes back.
Yeah.
miss you, Jax.
Right. He's probably on here with a shadow account, None. I'm just kidding. But all right. So start us back up with what people deserve. I want you to outline your argument, Nib.
Well, I did kind of get pretty ranty there. I think actually, if we could, because the Jax thing, it was part of what made people start going crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing was Chaos Games video. Do you think we could kind of go that direction in terms of like the longevity of the game and people's fears?
Yeah.
Then to me, that's the elephant in the room.
Can you guys educate me on Chaos's video? Platt sent me a video from Shark Games. That's different, right? From Big
That's
Sharks.
the response, kind of.
That's like a response video. It's almost like a rapper diss battle. It's not though, but it kind of had that vibe
'Cause I didn't even-
from Big Sharks.
I didn't even have time to watch that one, unfortunately. Work has just been kind of nutty, putting in like 10, 12-hour days. So, Nib, you want to give me a rundown on the first video, and then Platt can give me a rundown on the response that Shark did.
Boy, I'm kind of getting senile here. I think Platt probably remembers the Chaos Games better video, but real quick from me, um, generally speaking about how, he is apparently the second largest channel for content creation in DQT now, behind Platt.
Who's Chaos
And
Games?
how,
Like, I gotta Google him.
and and he only has, I think he has less than 1,000 subscribers, and so he was kind of humble in that he says, I'm not big at all, I don't really do much, but I'm the second biggest somehow, and that speaks kind of poorly to the community. All that stuff is, I think, if you kind of want to like back off a little bit from the way that looks, like, yeah, it's a good assessment of the health of the community in terms of it's pretty small. But what are you gonna do about it? Like, I don't know. Platt, what was the rest of the video? So he talked about his subscriber base being the second biggest and how that's kind of sad.
I can't find
He
him.
also spoke about what's that?
I can't find him on YouTube.
I'm sorry. It's Chase Games. It's not Chaos. It's Chase.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. I know Chase.
He was yelling at the Twitch. He was also speaking about resource shortages and stuff like that. And when people give you this list of things they think should improve the game, they're gonna give you their anecdotal experience. And I didn't agree at all with the resource part of it. We can have a debate about, does that turn away new players, and maybe it does. So he talked. What else did he talk about, Platt? There was the resources, and then his, the small channel sizes, and then what else was there?
Yeah, I mean, those were the biggest points that I paid attention to, obviously, because they were more relevant to me personally. Like when you're talking about creator size, like it's weird. Like again, like I was talking to Malcolm a little bit in the chat, and it wasn't like I don't think he said anything that anyone really disagreed with. Like I didn't really disagree with anything he said, and in fact, I really liked his video a lot. I felt it was more helpful, but it definitely had a like people really had an issue with like he made comments like he doesn't know if the game will make it to 1 year or like he thinks 6 months after the 6 month they're going to cut and run to see how much they can get and then run. So he definitely had some doom and gloom in the video, which I guess that's the part I disagree with. Like I think the game still has a long time going. um but
Right.
in terms of the other stuff, like the fact that like and he was pretty clear, out of people that make daily content, like he's the second biggest right now, and that is, he's at like 100, under 150 subs or something like that, and I'm at like 2.5 thousand, but that's still, chump change compared to YouTube numbers. And it's so like it does, like it's a small community for sure. And so I think that a small community is cool for some things when it's like classic World of Warcraft, or but when it's a gotcha game that's trying to rake in tons and tons of cash. um and the reason it's free to play is because hopefully it gets a lot of people, and a small community is indeed a scary thing. So like at least I understand his perspective for sure. um
All right. Now that I've
and I don't disagree with
researched,
that part.
now that I've researched this Chaos Games guy, all right, um, I've got new information. I know this guy
Okay.
intimately. Um, no, I'm just playing. I really didn't realize you guys were talking about Chase. That made it very
Oh,
confusing. So,
I wanted to make sure that
Okay.
his YouTube channel was actually called Chase. I'm like, oh my god, have I been calling it wrong this whole time? So I wanted to make sure.
no, that's great. All right. So first thing I want to address, just because it's Chase, is he is not the second biggest. All right. Mad is the second biggest. All right.
But he was clear he's the second biggest in terms of daily content. Mad and you are weekly, and so he made that distinction in his own words as well.
There is no distinction.
I think it's worth noting.
I think he is fourth, but nonetheless, after trolling him, but no, I watched his video. I think this is an older video. So it's what, like 3 or 4 days old, or is this
Yeah,
a
yeah.
newer one? Okay.
No,
So
it came out April 30th. So yeah, about 4 days ago.
perfect. So I did watch that one, and I agreed with his critiques. I don't agree with his doom and gloom nature. Right. So I believe that we should separate the two. Right. His critiques were valid.
Yes.
And I think
Yeah.
there are things worth talking about. We just don't want to jump into a mode, because one of the issues is you have a lot of power when you're a content creator, especially in a small community, and you can start like an avalanche of negative energy that kind of self actualizes, right? So if everyone stops paying, then the game will shut down.
Yes.
Yeah.
Uh, I don't want to pretend that someone. I understand when you're a small content creator, you have a weight. Or sorry, when you're in a small community, you have weight. But I don't want to pretend like Chase's video with 500 views is going to cause a game with 5 million downloads to fail. I don't
Well,
want to. I don't want to do undue pressure on him.
well, no,
The
I
thing
wanted
is,
yeah. Go
the
ahead.
thing is though, the community is so small and tight knit that even his little video, it may not have gotten all the views, but it was talked about like wildfire in the Discord,
Yeah,
and
I
maybe
don't want
went
to. I don't want to undersell it, but like I don't want to be like he's the harbinger of death who's come to destroy our game or anything like that. I just want it to be balanced. That's all.
No. So what I'm saying is, a video of 500 views can get a response video from Shark, right?
Yes.
And then
Yes.
it could get a response video from me, and I could get negative. You get what I'm saying? Like, and it can just kind of go. And also because we're in a small video, like there will be posts on Reddit, right? So Laval will make a post kind of carrying off of the negative energy and kind of going further. And I'm not saying this is Chase's fault or anything. You get what I'm saying? I'm just saying these are natural repercussions of the way that small communities work. I've been in a lot of dying games over the years. I can tell you this one's not dying yet, for sure. And we have at least until the 1 year mark. Now, if everyone stops spending from here until the 1 year mark, the game will die.
Yeah.
Just don't do that. Just keep playing the game the way you've been playing. And I think we have plenty of time to find out where this game really is going. The game's still young. What is it? 4 months old?
Yeah.
It's
But like
that, yeah.
to go off what you said though, is like partially like me and you have both cut back on our spending on the game, and for the game, it's some of it's personal for sure, but some of it is how the game is evolved over time as well. It's not like the game feels like it's discouraging me spending money these days with new rank sixes. Like I'm going to spend less money than I did before, just a fact, because if a new unit comes out, I don't want to have to spend 200 something dollars to get a unit and then $60 on orbs or something like that to rank up that unit. And then so it's just like, all right, I'm going to pull 1/3 the amount of time because I just need more time to save up orbs now or something like that.
So I mean that's the what do players deserve subject, and which is kind of what the response video was from Shark, kind of sorta.
Yeah, like I want to
And
clarify before I criticize anything in Shark's video if it comes up that like I like Shark a lot. I got nothing against him. He's been very awesome. He's been fun on my Discord, but I basically disagreed with everything he said in the entire video.
Okay, and then I want to kind of and say I've never really thought Shark has good takes on the game. He's not in my Discord. I don't have a Discord. Uh, but he's a very casual player, so his views are going to be super skewed. And that's the reason that me and him kind of butt heads. You know what I mean? Because I'm a very much pay to win player at my like $800 spending or whatever. But on the other hand, me and Chase are really good friends, and I love Chase to death. So carry on.
Okay, I love Chase as well for sure.
I love him more. Just
yeah, I hope none of this is coming off like any kind of personal indictment. They seem like really cool guys and make great points all around. Mostly speaking to the impact in the community. So
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I care for I want them both to stay on my Discord and have a good time. I want them to be around. I like them both making videos.
so Platt, I guess I would have to. This is where we disagree. Because so you mentioned, why would you pay more and pull more, because then you're quote going to have to get more orbs, blah 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 blah, right? And I completely understand that point. Like I understand where you're coming from. I understand it conceptually because that kind of thing happened in War of the Visions. Sometimes you would be like, oh shoot, I pulled another UR, which is the same as, it's the highest rarity, it's an S, and therefore now I have to get all the unit shards to get them to level 99, right? But it's different in DQT because you don't have to. Like you feel like like a lot of people feel like they have to max those units, but I'm still sitting with most of my S tier units at level 90. I haven't spent orbs on them, and I have absolutely no motivation to like Present Peacock, Nightclubber, Highbird. They're going to be 90 probably. So is that just because I'm not a completionist in that sense? Maybe. But I also think that these types of games, I don't think you are entitled to max everything that you have. And in fact, I would take it further. I would say that you should be happy that you can't max everything. Because what you
I
see in World Visions now is everyone has maxed Una, Titus, and one other unit, and guild battles are the exact same 3 units at the exact same power levels, all the way up and down the roster. And that's really boring and dumb, and it's cool that a game gives you scarcity so that you can do your thing. Like Umaro is a really good example of that. He's just a beast guy. And then who else? Anyway, and Kage, whatever. He's got the Baramos, right? Everyone was
yes.
shitting on Baramos, and he's got a maximum power Baramos that's probably going to one-shot S-Stark when he comes around and surprise everybody. So that kind of thing, going off the beaten path, it is made a lot more possible when resources are scarce.
Yeah, I don't personally think having a bunch of S ranks at 4 is like the sign of like, oh, that's a positive thing. We're already like, I don't want everyone to max every unit free to play. That's just not realistic or practical. But we're already bottlenecked in a lot of ways outside of the orbs. We're bottlenecked by abilities getting to rank 10. That's a gold consumption that most free to play players can't afford without the weekly, monthly gold thing. We're also bottlenecked by awakenings, right? People are never going to get awakening Zoma 5. I've spent hundreds and hundreds of dollars on Zoma, and I have awakening 1. So we're already never going to max these units. It's already going to be we're already bottlenecked in different ways. To be further bottlenecked in a way where we can't even like S4s just aren't going to compete with S6s. And so in a tactics game where I'm supposed to build teams to try new teams out, the game is incentivizing me to build as few units up as possible to make a few units as overpowered as possible by trying to get them at max awaken, max rank, and then not do any of the tactics. They just want me to overpower everything. At least that's not the way the game is, but I'm saying that's the way that this can go in the future. Like this is the path they've started to tread down. They've doubled the amount of orb potential need in order to make a unit good or relevant. And they've halved the generosity of orbs, and I feel like no one really cares about that. Like it's like I don't care if it scales. If they give us 2 orbs, or they give us more orbs in proportion to how much orbs they take from us, keep the economy equal. But they've doubled the consumption, and with again, I haven't seen Dragon Quest IV event, which is why I didn't want to comment on this too much. But if they only give us 1 orb in an event and we get 1 orb a month like we were getting, I don't think that's I think that's not scaling properly.
Well, we'll probably get a lot more than 1 for probably 4 or 5 total. But
yeah, if we, I have no complaints about needing more orbs if they give us more orbs, and even if it kind of still trends in the wrong direction, where it's like I need 30 orbs to max my party, but I'm getting 3 orbs a month. I'm like, that's still fine. Like you still get to experiment and have fun. But like when I go into arena and I have an S4 metal dragon, and like I want to use him in arena, but he just doesn't have the HP because he's gonna get one shot by Zoma. But I know at 110 he could survive a hit and maybe do something like. But now I can't invest the orbs. But if they start giving us more orbs like this, not enough to max everything out, but enough to experiment with some units that might be weaker. Because right now I'm like, yeah, I got to look up guide lists and look up the strongest units and only rank those up. Like I want to use weaker units, but I don't want to have to completely, spend $90 a pop to do it.
Yeah.
well,
So again, it's just relative. Like I don't need 1,000 orbs. If they give us if they instead of 1 orb a month, they give us 2 to 3 orbs a month, I don't even have any complaints.
so let me challenge a couple of things you said.
Okay.
You mentioned that a unit needs to be S6 in order to be good or relevant. And I think that really only applies to the highest competitive level of which, yeah, I will admit you have to really, if you're going to get like top 50 or top 10 in arena, yeah, probably going to have to bring S6s and A6s only to that. I mean, that said, I've been using a level 100 Zoma for the past
Yeah.
3 days, and he's working out perfectly fine.
I think the issue will be further exaggerated when Arena gets rid of that, if they ever do, gets rid of the 30% damage debuff, because a lot of things are surviving hits that would be dying to hits right now.
I think that's a permanent rule, actually.
Okay, then I would like that to be in there because otherwise the power level would be a bit too high. I think
everyone would just one-shot everything, but
no, I don't think units need to be S6 to be relevant, but also there's a big difference between S4 and S6, right? Like, and it's not really a problem in Arena because Arena is free to play. You still get most of the rewards even if you don't do very well, and you don't need to be competitive in it to eventually get the free stuff. But it's like it's still like it's taken away a fun factor, and again, it's all about balance, right? There's like no one would want the game if they only gave us enough free orbs to ever rank up 1 unit, right? If we only ever had enough to have 1 S unit at max rank, and it took all of the orbs that they ever gave us, that would be lame. No one would think that's cool or fun. And if they gave us enough orbs where everything got to be free, the accounts would become homogenous and not interesting. So like I think there's obviously a middle ground, and I'm just afraid that they're going to trend too close to the not enough orbs where everything has to be focused on 1 or 2 units, or like realistically right now it feels like 8 units, maybe something like that. And I want to be able to have like, out of my 20 S ranks or whatever, I want to be able to use like half of them or something, or I want to be able to, if I pull a new unit, I don't want to have to be like, all right, next month I'll be able to have him at max rank, So again, just balance. Maybe I'm a little bit off on where I think the balance should be, but they've trended in the direction to be less generous, and I'm just cautious.
They have trended less generous recently, but if you look at going forward, so we've had a lot of S units. You got to really think about this in perspective-wise, because we're still new and global, and so not only do we have all of the standard banner S units and A units, but we also have a slew of S units that most people have wanted. Except for like Baramos, which very few people want. You have Trueform, you have Zoma, you have Dragwar. Most of these units that have come out have been like, yeah, I should probably pull for those. Um, so just that plus the fact that there's White King and he's the best standard, but there's also the other standard banner units that people use. It's going to feel very overwhelming because we're still new. Now in Japan, when they into this, I just going to Prison Peacock forever, maybe maybe not. But also they've had a lot more banners that have come and gone where they can not pull because they just don't want the unit, right? We've got Dragon Quest IV coming up, which has 3S units: Elena, Clift, and Sorrow. Everybody wants Sorrow, right? Not everybody wants Elena, and hardly anybody wants Clift. So you're going to get orbs uh, from the event or from the shop to get all of them up to at least S5, if not more. But are you going to pull all three and want to max all three? I don't think
No.
so. So I think that plus the fact that S7 does not involve orbs, they are actually going to trend away from this how we currently feel. I mean, I don't feel that way, but how that kind of less. I think it's going to feel a lot more generous over time. So I guess not so much disagreeing with you, but trying to, I guess, allay that fear that you have
And
about which way they're going.
I would actually say we even go as far as say we do agree. It's just whether or not. So my main two issues is that I tried not to comment on this, and then I got into it today, and so then it all started becoming a thing in the podcast is tonight. But I'm like, I wanted to wait till I saw Dragon Quest IV event to see how they handle free orbs. Like, it's one thing to give us a surplus of orbs right now, like they added like 4 into the game or something. Like, boom, here's a bunch of new orbs. But then if they continued at the rate of one a month, I think that would be bad long term, and that's kind of what I was trying to highlight. But if they're kind of like, I obviously there's 3 S units coming out. No, I don't want them to give us 6 orbs to max rank all those S units because no one's going to get all 3 of them besides people that are spending a ton of money anyway. So, but like again, like if we do happen to pull one of them, it'd be nice to get 2 orbs for that one. Or I don't get lucky, I don't pull one. I get to finally rank up one of my other banner units that I had that I've never ranked up, things like that. So that's kind of where I'm at. Is just like I'm nervous about the rate of orbs. But also, a quick second thing that I dislike about the orb system is I know they're not. I really wish they were farmable in some way. I don't know how to implement it to be balanced. Maybe very rare, but like I don't like that we as the player don't have any real control outside of the mini medals of how we get it. It's like what they deem. It's like here's some for an event. Here's one for an event. Here's one for login rewards. Here's one. It's like they like it feels like they're like, here you go, you may have one more orb. I don't have the ability. I can grind everything else in the game besides that one material, and I don't like that we don't have the power to do that.
All right, I'm jumping in.
Developer,
You guys have been
sorry,
talking good,
Please,
but all right. So you guys agree on a lot of stuff, and I just want to kind of highlight because sometimes you guys talk past each other just a tiny bit, and you get like nuanced. And as a passerby who's watching the conversation, I think you guys are mostly agreeing. So Platt's worry is that if they only release one orb continuously, that we are going to get to a point where not enough things get ranked up. The difference between a level 90 and a level 110 is very big in Arena, regardless of what anyone wants to say. That's a huge power difference. We don't want that to be like a huge differential in general, but you also don't need every single S unit in the game, like Nib said, at 110, because some of them just aren't that good unless you're I'm gonna mess up his name, but you said it earlier, like Uraru or whatever, who has like a 110 clubber. Most people aren't gonna have a 110 clubber. I'm not going to. I do agree with Nib that I think we'll get more orbs in the future, and it will balance because the base pool had like 17 or something S units, and as we're only getting like 3 a month, maybe 4 a month moving forward, if we keep on getting 2 orbs per month, the math at like 1 year mark will kind of catch up, where you won't actually need as many orbs. Eventually, everyone will get 100 to 110, S5, S6. And I'm really glad that there's going to be no orb for S7, although I don't understand what they're going to use. It will be another grindable resource, which might be equally as annoying.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even bring up irises, but in order to rank up one, like just quick, but in order to rank up 1A and 1S, used to take 6 to get them to max 5, and now it takes 19, right? And they increase the drop rate, but it's like Is it doubled? Even doubled is still not, you know, relatively scaling in the positive direction. But that's just another aside.
Well, I mean, it's. Do you consider planning and resource management to be a fun thing to do in a video game? And those are the meta in every single gacha game. And especially since we're in global, we have the gift of insight from Japan's experience. So really, there's not much excuse other than you just don't have the time to do it. But you should be able to plan. Like, okay, we know that S7 is going to need shitloads of irises. So at least you should be buying the one in the market every week for 3,000 gold. And then maybe you should be farming the rank up more. So, um,
I personally don't feel it's reasonable to expect a casual player to look up the Japanese roadmap and do that kind of research, right? And the whole point of these games is that they're casual for people to play on their phones while they're using the restroom or something. That's how the most people play. And so I feel like it should be like you shouldn't have to plan out. Like, you should have to save. Obviously, you're like, nothing's good, I'll save this. But you shouldn't be like, all right, 3 months from now, this unit I know is coming out is going to come out, and so I'm going to save up for that specific unit in 3 months. That feels, I think, a bit unreasonable for a
yeah,
casual player.
yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right. Let me concede that it is not reasonable to expect the casual player to go onto Game with and use Google Translator and research Japan. However, is that same person entitled to the same experience that you or I am entitled to? That's a big question, you know. I don't think so, and then that probably makes me sound callous, and that probably makes people think, oh, you're just a filthy whale. But I would probably think that regardless of my spending status, and the developer they have to have some kind of control. Because they have shareholders and they have bosses and they have to justify their salary, and part of that is withholding orbs. Unfortunately, it's like the reason you can't just sit at a casino for your whole life. You know,
Yeah,
you,
and
they,
your money should get you something, right? Your money should be getting you things that no one else has, for sure. Like, your experience should be different and things should be easier, or things you should be able to do things that other people can't do to an extent. I do want everyone to be able to clear all content, which they have been able to as far as optional content. For sure, like, who cares who could clear and can't clear Prison Peacock? I mean, everyone probably can at this point. But like that kind of stuff, even like the max like Pyramid EX, right? Like, that didn't bother me at all that it was way too hard for most people, because it's like, yeah, do you care about, you get an icon, which is cool, but it's like also like 80 gems. Like, it's not any real impact in it. And people that spent did get that cool thing, right? Like, that's the right way to do things like that, I think.
I
As
agree.
far again, I don't really love the withholding orbs thing, because we're like free casual players are already typically withheld like gold. That's like a really big one. If you don't buy the pass, you're just like, you got no gold, and so you're already having huge issues with all this stuff. um and not to mention, like, most people can't just rank up their abilities to rank 10, and ranking up units is really expensive, ranking up abilities is expensive, rerolling gear can get expensive. And so I already feel like they're kind of bottleneck people in some way. I just don't think orbs are the right way to go, personally. In that way, again, I feel like we talk past each other. We agree on basically everything. I just think that if they continued at the current rate, that would be an issue. But
well,
you've seemed to have voiced that you think there will be more orbs in the next coming event, more than just
yeah,
the one. Which I'm
I
like, then that's fine.
Right.
That's perfect.
So I think we
I
gotta
think
shelf the orb. Like, you can finish
Yeah,
in a
yeah, yeah.
sec. But
let me let me
until
let
we
me
see
let
the
me predict.
orbs, like, we just won't know. But you can finish your point, Nib.
Let me just put a period on the orbs. I think there's going to be just prediction. There's going to be one that's available like freely to everybody. There's actually going to be three. There's going to be one available from just login rewards. There's going to be one available through um, medals, event medals that you can just buy it. And then there will probably be another one available. No. Two is going to be easily accessible to everybody. And then there's probably going to be two more, one through a paid gem purchase, and then another one for, I don't know, maybe there's two event medals, I don't know. Or maybe there's going to be more mini medal rewards released. So I'm thinking two easily accessible, which if you only want Pissarro, then there you go. You got your two orbs. So
Right.
Honestly,
Um,
2 orbs would like if they had 2 orbs that are easily obtainable, and then they had like a perfect like an EX fight where like perfectly clearing it with like only demons or something. I don't know, something hard like for another orb or like something like that. I'm like, that's awesome. Like that's the kind of thing that is like I would be excited about that kind of reward, right? Like that's a good thing to put as a reward for difficult stuff. But also, I think as long as there's too easily accessible, I'm happy. And if they then add some sort of difficult challenge for players that maybe are on the whale side or with max units to get an additional reward for what they've done, I'm like, I totally support that.
right on.
Right.
And then quickly, you mentioned gold, and gold is a big thing that's being talked about a lot in the community as a bottleneck. And I don't know. I don't want to bank too much on the fact that day one players, do you remember, me and Jackson, Cage, and everybody, we were talking about gold shortages basically every day for the
Mm-hmm.
first 3 weeks of the game. And I don't think any of us really held it as an indictment against the game and the design and saying the game is dying because of the gold and we deserve more. Basically, I think what we just did was spent it wisely and only rank up the things that you need now. Um, because you don't need to have plus 10 A ranked abilities in order to advance the story and clear some X quests and stuff like that. You certainly don't need to buy all the items in the gold shop. So,
Yeah.
and then it just comes with time. I just really I wish the community would just temper their expectations about gold because literally everybody had to wait. And frankly, I loved that. Like that was really addicting to have that carrot on a stick. Uh, just continuing to see things that you can purchase, but you just can't right now because you don't have the gold. Um, the next day you wake up, you're gonna get another 6,000, whatever it is. Boom. It's super exciting. I love that feeling.
I like the gold system right now. And it makes getting like, oh, here's a 10,000 gold reward for clearing this stage 100 times or something like that. Like that's fun. I like because then I'm gonna go do that. The only thing, my literal only complaint about the gold is I don't think alchemizing weapons should cost gold because like
Yes.
that's all you already farmed it. You spent the stamina. You spent, you got the rare drops, and then you want to do 100 of them to find one good roll, and then I wish that they took away the gold cost from alchemizing weapons because it's just a bit I don't know. I like.
Or
Does that
maybe
really need
made
the
a
gold
lot
cost?
cheaper at least.
Yeah, like that. I think that part's like. I love that the abilities are expensive. Because that's a you're choosing. Are you ranking up units? Are you buying things from the shop, or are you going to rank up abilities? Like I spent like 40,000 gold on ranking up stupid B rank abilities on stupid B units for these battle roads, and I'm like, I've had a good time. I don't care investing those resources because that's what I
Yeah.
want to do. But
Um,
yeah, I like the gold system overall. It's kind of a, which is I don't know. Yeah, it's fun.
my War of the Visions account, when I mean, I'm not playing anymore, but it has 3 billion gold on it. And, there's the gold, I guess quantities in War Divisions are a little bit more inflated than they are in DQT. Um, but I would say that's the equivalent to about 1 million gold in DQT. And I wasn't doing anything with it. There's no use for it. 3 billion gold. So I think
Yeah,
that's
I
a
mean,
way bigger problem is having just so much shit that you can't use. There's no use for it. You're not excited when you get it. Yeah.
agreed. I don't want to pretend like people don't have gold issues. Like gold is an issue, but I don't think it's like a problem if that makes sense. It's like a
Yeah.
it's a limiting resource which everyone deals with, but I don't think that's like a core game design flaw. Like I would again, I would be cool to have infinite gold, but then you wouldn't buy the battle pass. Like it's a normal part of the economy. I think it's very healthy so far. Unless Laliette disagrees, and I'm sure he'll convince me.
I had to go to the restroom, but if we're talking about gold, gold is in a good place. Money doesn't get you much gold, like real life money. Gold is
Hmm.
basically like pay your 599 or whatever for your pass, and you get a good amount of gold. Um, the two things that I thought were worth addressing from earlier about like if you're going to have complaints to get about the game, right? Is one, I think that people have to accept the design flaw that I think they made, which is they built a game very similar aesthetically, etc. to Pokemon, but this is not a collector game unless you want to pay big bucks. So you don't get to
Hmm.
have all the units. You don't get to rank up and level up all the units. A game like Dragon Ball Legends does the exact opposite. They kind of let you get all the units for very little amount of money. For the amount of money I've spent right now in that game at the 2 year mark, I would have all the units and all the units max level, right? So, and maybe in time, if I play free to play here forward, that might happen at the 2 year mark. We haven't got that far yet, but I think one of the big hurt hurt feeling things that people get is I can't collect all the units even if I spend $1,000, and I can't level up all my units because of the orb system. And people don't want to spend $60 to go from level 90 to level 110 when they get their sorrow if they didn't save orbs or whatever.
Yeah, and again, it's just like obviously, I don't want everyone to get 1,000 orbs put into their account. I think it would kind of, I don't know if it would break the game, but it just like the economy would take a huge blow, and I don't know, people wouldn't even have the money or the other mats probably to rank up all this stuff that they suddenly have these orbs for. But it just, I would like it just to scale, you know.
I think 3 orbs a month would be fantastic. I think 2 orbs a month is a must. I think we do have a problem if it remains 1 orb a month, but once again, we don't know how many. We could get 2 or 3, like Nib said, and then we're doing great.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a more elegantly put way of what I was thinking. I think 2 is a must, 3 is fantastic.
I agree. All right, so we covered all that, and now where are we at in the? All right, so we didn't really talk too much, unless you guys do while I was gone, about what a free to play player deserves, right? And I think they get everything they deserve in this game. That's just my personal opinion. I think you can clear all the content except maybe Prison Peacock, and you get like 17, 18 plus S units if you played from day one. You get a bunch of Max Awakened A units that are pretty useful. You get at this point, what? If you've been playing for free, you're somewhere around like 9 orbs at this point for free.
No, remarkably friendly free-to-play game for how like the game could be unremarkably friendly to whales. You know, it's like almost, I guess like the inverse of what you would expect. But like it's easy to get in, and the units. The later you get in, it becomes way, way, way harder. Like a free-to-play player starting today is gonna have some issues, no doubt. But day one players, like we got so many great rank A units for completely free that are able to clear so many boss fights. Now, I will say they did manage to do a good job of making most of these A units not super good in arena, at least right now. They just don't fit the narrow, strengths that arena highlights. But they're really, really good for clearing content, and they're good for farming. Like you can get your team through everything with these A units alone.
Yep.
And obviously, it's just a fun game.
And I even think that Armful is actually good in arena if you get him to level 100.
He is good, but I think he's better on defense. Again, I'd rather just kill something when I'm attacking most of the time.
Armful is quite good on defense. Very true. Because he's hard to kill.
Also, we haven't talked about arena much, but I just want to say Queen Slime has blown my mind with how powerful she is.
Do you have a Queen Slime? I don't think he does.
I have one. I really, really wish it was max now. I would have gladly pulled 2 more.
That's not surprising at all. I could have told you that a long time ago. That pull, is it like a multi-unit pull or is it just 1 unit?
3 units.
Oh my god. Yeah, that's insane. That's really, really good. So
yeah, she pulls 3 units at like, I don't even know what the potency is or whatever on the attack because it's martial, but it's like, I don't know, it's doing like 250, 300 crack damage. But also she's got 800 HP, which is not small, and she's got 400 agility. It's like she's always going first. She's getting up there, she's pulling, and she's surviving 2 attacks, and then the rest of my team comes in and kills it. It's like, it feels like Queen Slime is like a meme, I understand, but like she feels like built from the ground up for arena.
I don't think it's a meme. When you told me this idea, and like as soon as I thought about it for the first time, because I never pulled on that banner, I was like, wow, that's actually a good point. It pulls it towards you so you can get the turn clear better, right? Because that's one of my issues with the system right now is it's hard to do in 2 turns, especially if you have 2 move units like I do. And she also does crack damage, which is pretty good right now, right? There's some units like Nib. If you had to, off the top of your head, say a couple good units that are weak to crack, what would you say?
Dragon Lord, True Form, and I mean, there's a bunch of them, but
regular Dragon Lord too. So yeah, just right there too.
Yeah,
really good units. Or at least I hate fighting against Dragon Lord, like regular Dragon Lord.
Because I don't know if I've even been attacked by a Dragon Lord True Form because his agility is like, he always goes last like in every fight. So I pull him on with Queen Slime, and then I have Boreal Serpent. Just like I've killed Dragon Lord True Form with Queen Slime pulling, and then my Serpent using its breath attack, not even needing to get close enough to attack, to put itself in danger, and it's at +0. So I mean, they had a 0 awakening one. I'm sure I would have to scale it up, but yeah, like Queen Slime is really good against Dragonlord True Form, which is on every good team.
Also, they're saying, like, someone's saying that White Knight is one-shotting Queen Slime. There's no way. I'm just telling you, because if she has 800 HP and you don't even have her at 110, right? I have a +10 single awakened White Knight, and he's not doing 800 damage to anything.
No,
He does around 700-ish maxed with Kaswoosh to a week in arena.
Yeah, I'm doing 678, I think, right now.
plus like you could put her on the opposite side, anyway. Like you could easily position around her because on one side, if he's on the opposite side, he's never going to reach her anyway. But yeah, mine's never died to the wind attack. The closest was to a Slineheart, but I even put her on the side and I just pulled him in and killed him in the first turn. Yeah, mine right now, I do have golden claws on her, keep that in mind, but she has 396 agility, which puts her exactly 2 agility above my Serpent, so she gets to pull first before he goes.
Oh, that's sick.
781 defense with 0 awakens and only at level 100 S5. So 781 HP, 305 defense. She actually has like, I don't even have a scroll on her because she doesn't need it. Like I've used her, I use her attack like 3, like, well, obviously if I get to turn 3, I use it 3 times. She never dies.
Yeah, good unit.
Yep.
So speaking of good units, why don't we ask the guy who's number 2 in arena, who also has a tier list. So if you guys haven't checked out his tier list, we'll be linking that down below so you can check it out. Tell us, what do you think are the key units that people are overlooking? So like, what everybody's talking about, but what are units like maybe a Queen Slime that you have seen be pretty effective?
Yeah, so kind of don't want to give away all my secrets right now. I want to get first place in 1 week, and then I can divulge all my shit. But we can talk a little bit about it. So real quick about my tier list. I need to update that, by the way, with all the new units. But that actually is an overall, is this unit worth pulling and investing in type list. So a lot of people have been approaching it like it's just the arena. And that is not the case. The arena is weighted a little bit more heavily than the other scores, but it takes into account, is this unit accessible and affordable? Is this unit also good at clearing PvE, difficult PvE content? Is it good at farming, so clearing story or easier PvE stuff? Or if it's on a battle road, is it good at battle road? So it's kind of a, I guess, comprehensive, is this unit useful? Just arena. I pretty much think that, if you look at the top 20, somebody did a list of how many monsters showed up on top accounts. I think it was Jack B. Nimble did that.
Yes, not to be confused with Jax.
No, yeah, Jack B. Nimble. I think he did a. I can't remember the name of the guy, but he did a list. Oh, cool.
So do you want me just to run through the units real quick and then you talk about them?
Yeah, sure. From Jack's list, yeah.
So White King, obviously, Zoma, Killing Machine, Dragon Lord 2 form. The Dragon Lord up here might surprise a couple people, right?
He counters the White King, right? Isn't that kind of the triangle of the magic casters? Is White King?
Dragon Lord counters a lot of people right now. And I think that's the first, because we don't have to talk about True Form, we don't have to talk about Zoma, we don't have to talk about Killing Machine. Everyone knows their value. I think everyone also knows the value of Royal Reptile, and Lionheart, and probably also Dragwar. So we don't really need to talk about those guys. But yeah, Dragon Lord human form, he's not going to be that great later on because you're going to have more ways to deal with him, and you're going to have more units that are not weak to frizz. But right now, we have that meta, So, specifically, we're talking about Dragwar and Hellion and weak to frizz. So he's a hard counter to those guys. And then I think he is weak to crack, and then one other element I can't remember.
Sizz.
Sizz, and there's not a lot of Sizz right now. You know, there will be when Halberd Sources come out, but um,
I'm so ready for that unit. That's like my dream unit.
yeah, he's really really good. Everyone should get him. But yeah, Dragon Lord for now. If you got him, you should probably use him. And I say that as somebody that's not well equipped to deal with Dragon Lord, so I'm kind of shooting myself in the foot. But he's a little bit overlooked. He's got really high wisdom. I think it's second place behind Zoma, and not too far behind. Um, so yeah. And then the other one, um, Baramos. Yes. So he's he gets shit on a lot hard by Japanese players, and I understand why. And there's a couple of reasons for that. Because they have Sorrow, who is a better source of bang than Baramos, because Baramos is the bang guy. You know, because Sorrow has a lot more tankiness. He's got 3 move instead of 2 with 1 awakening. Does tons of damage, has huge stats, has a reflect. He's just way better than Baramos in general. But right now, uh, if you're weak to bang, Baramos will one shot you, and you know, so it's kind of easy to kill him because he's weak to frizz and crack. But um, you know, guess what? Estark is going to be something that everybody has, and you know, Estark might be next to a Sorrow, so Sorrow kind of protects Estark from Kaboom or something like that. But he doesn't protect Estark from concentrated Kaboom, which is a skill that Baramos has. So, you know, I kind of I don't want to rant too much here, but there's a lot of things that Japan players say that's based on their current experience that I think shapes the global community's perspective incorrectly because we're in a different place in the game, and that's one of them.
For sure. Like, because people talk about, I don't know, the Japan list like it's, the Bible. And it's just like, this is the 100% facts. Like, not just, not only Dragon Quest, but like just in other games in general. Like, when metas will change and things will go undiscovered, right? And especially in a game like this where it's so resource intensive to experiment, lots of things are going to go undiscovered because players are going to, a few really good players are going to hone in on a few things, and a lot of people are going to try to conserve their resources for these things. And so, I mean, how many people are going to have a level 110 metal dragon or, a 110 great dragon? I mean, they're probably not that good. I'm not saying to do that. I'm just saying that, like, in metas, things go undiscovered. So it's not like they had the perfect meta solved either. Not to mention we're in a different spot of the game than they were as well, of course.
So I want to bring up something that I can talk about that you guys can't, which is very few things. So single awakened units that should have 3 movement. I have both of them, right? The 2 big ones, which are Slying Heart and Killing Machine. As most people know, I spent 60k free gems on Killing Machine, didn't reroll my account because I'm an idiot. So I have a single awakened one with 2 move. He's garbage. He's useless in arena. He won't help me get 2-turn wins. And then Slying Heart, same issue. Only I spent $205 getting my Slying Heart, and it hurts me so deeply in my soul that his 2 move, he never gets near anybody to kill them. Do you guys agree that you shouldn't use those units if they don't have to move?
Yeah, you should keep them home in arena. I mean, it depends on what level you're at. You know, if you're trying to hit top 50, then you should probably leave them at home. That said, I bet you so much money that I could probably figure out how to make it work with a non-awakened killing machine if all he has to do is walk forward on the first turn, survive, and then on turn 2 he uses Crackle Slash on, say, a Dragon Lord and one-shots him. Then he did his job, whether or not, and that is actually possible to do in the current arena map without 3 movements. So um,
My
I
counterpoint
think
is Zoma. I will just use Zoma in those cases and do it on turn 1.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
if you have a 2 movement unit that you have to move forward to, like, it's so easy to have them accidentally be killed by something. You have to, like, if you find the perfect square and you move forward, but like you don't have a lot of flexibility. If you have to move up 2, then you have to move up 2 more just to reach something. When you have 3, you have obviously in 4 is awesome because you could do whatever the hell you want every turn and still get where you need to go. But yeah, I mean, the only 2 movement, like, I've already considered taking Green Dragon out of my party, and he has a range 3 attack. and it's still, it's like he just doesn't reach him in time, like, or he gets like one attack if I'm trying to win in 2 turns, and it's just not. He needs to be able to attack twice. But two movement units are really struggling for sure. But arena, that's like my big issue with arena. Like why I like battle roads more than arena. Honestly, is just arena is not PvP in the sense that you're going up against a team trying to win. It's like you're gaming this. You're gaming the game. You have such a specific narrow type of unit that you want, because your goal is not to win. Your goal is to win in 2 turns without deaths, which is very, very different than trying to win. Because if it was like live PvP, me against you, we're bringing in our teams, we're trying to win, then you just have it straight up just win. Whoever wins gets the points. Whoever loses the points, right? But you can't do that in an AI thing, right? Because everyone's going to be winning. Like I've won like 18 games in a row or something like that. And that doesn't mean that I'm super, super good. It's just because I'm going, but the skill comes in, and if you can beat them fast in under 2 turns. And the downside to that is that there's so many units that just aren't practical in this game mode, which is fine. But I hope that they do have a type of arena or something where it's not, you don't need to win fast, you just need to win. Because like I want to kill people with poison and and venomate and stuff, and that's just not gonna happen. Not and getting points. I'm not gonna do that on my attempts,
Well, I mean, for what it's worth, the AI that they have designed for the arena, I'm still figuring it out. There's some tricks that it has up its sleeve, but it kind of knows, it's kind of self-aware. It knows that it can't win, so all it tries to do is either delay you or kill one of your guys.
Oh, it does.
And that to the computer AI, that's a win. That's a win for them. So, for that reason, there are some units that are just fantastically good on defense that I wouldn't want to bring on offense.
If you do a free, not real attempt, but you just are like playing for fun, will that be your new defensive team?
No.
So
it has to be something you take into an actual one of your 3 attempts.
I think it has to be your last.
Yeah, last rated match.
Okay.
But everyone has now found out that you can keep doing free matches until you get an easy roll for your first match for the next day. So
I did see that, but I didn't like double check that that's true. But I swear to God that I'm glad you validated that, because I didn't scroll through my units. It was just the first guy I saw, and then the next morning I saw the exact same name, and I was like, "What the hell?"
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think I'm not scared to mention that. I think it wouldn't take people too long to figure that out. So,
I mean, I'm not gonna abuse it, but I'm just gonna roll whatever I roll, probably.
It's not super necessary because they give you 5 options each time. Like, what are the chances that you know? I mean, you can abuse it if you want, but
I mean, it only gives you one of the 3 easy matches. That's all it does, right? So it's not going to be the difference between who's number 1, but it could be the difference between making top 500 or making top 100 for certain people. So I did hear you guys. Well, I heard Platt mention Great Dragon. I think Great Dragon's actually good in this meta currently. I'm not saying he's going to be good long term, but I think he has the right resistances. He has the right typing. He has enough HP to survive, like run out and survive. He gives the other units a reason to come forward. And this is probably not one of the best units if you have all the units in Awakens like Nib has. But I'm curious how good you think it is.
Me or Nib?
Nib.
Great Dragon, you said?
Yes, the yellow dragon.
And what's the highest level one you've seen? Because that's very relevant for damage and survivability.
I've seen 100.
I've gone against a level 100 Great Dragon. He is absolute garbage. There's no redeeming factors. The only thing is he's strong against Frizz, which is kind of nice. So he can just, kind of say fuck you to Dragon Lord and Dragon Lord True Form, but he's weak to Whoosh and Zap, and everybody has Whoosh and Zap right now. Everybody has a Royal Reptile, which will one-shot him.
No.
And then everybody's got a White King. I'm pretty sure White King can either come close to or will one-shot Great Dragon.
One shot.
What?
Neither of those will one shot him. So if they have a 2 awakened Great Dragon at level 100, neither the level 110s, like I have a 110 plus 10 Royal Reptile, almost one
Uh-huh.
shots him, leaves him with like freaking 10 HP, and then it's not even close with the white
So
king.
my Royal Reptile, Max Awaken 110, is doing about 1200 damage with his A skill on weak to Zap. So that kills absolutely
That's a
everything.
lot.
I'll say I think
Um,
Great Dragon's probably not that good on defense, like for sure. But again, like on attack, like unless they have like the perfect, because people aren't building against your team, right? They're just going in attack and stuff. So the
yeah.
chances that Great Dragon won't have a right or left flank that he can survive in, I think he could do pretty good work. I mean, I don't know. Point is, like for me, his damage was already hitting like I don't know. He's at level 90, and he had +0 on his cold breath. It was hitting like 400 something damage. That's not even that's 20 levels short and 10 awake, 10 abilities short on his thing there. So I mean, he might be end up hitting like 700 damage like on a brilliant. Of course, it wasn't hitting it normal, but I think that he definitely has potential. I mean, I'm gonna try. I want to see how good he is. Plus, I just like the unit. It's a fun, cool looking unit.
Yeah.
And I also want him to be good for when I get the Hackosaurus dude with his breath because I want that 20% potency on it.
So I stand by what I said. Like if you're like Nib, I don't think he's actually that good if you have access to like Max Awaken and better units. But when you kind of get what you have, if you have him at 2 hearts, he's probably, and you're like a budget Dolphin or lower player, he's probably a pretty good option for you because it's really hard to one shot him in this current meta. Slineheart probably will, but how many Slinehearts are there out there? Not a ton. Um,
Right.
and like on defense is where I've seen him for other people be useful. I used him myself once, and he was fine at level 90.
So he can be good for baiting out Dragon Lord both forms
Yes.
because he will probably not get one shot by anything they do. He can probably actually take two hits, two Kafrizzes and two Fire Breaths, and he'll just shrug it off. So if you need to bait him out, and then he could probably do reasonable damage back to them too. So in that scenario, yeah, I can see it working.
Yeah.
I don't know if he would take the spot of a Queen Slime in my build.
No.
Probably not. They kind of are familiar, but I think Queen Slime is just too good. But I do think in a different team comp, and also if you go up a team that just has a bunch of crack weakness, right? If they've then he's obviously just going to be kind of a monster. I think. Let me see. Mine's at 2 hearts. I am just curious to see one thing really quick. Is this my team? It is my team. There he is. I just want to see what does he get? What's his first resistance? He does get the Frizz resistance first. So that's pretty good. Like
Yeah.
that means at 2 hearts, he's even better in arena. The Sizz resistance he gets later, but like Sizz isn't that relevant currently, but I'm sure it will be at some point.
Yep. And I
Yeah,
have to
it'll be very relevant soon.
I have to admit how bad Mucifer is. And I sadly, as soon as I made that video and people started commenting and they're like, "Did you forget about the Wiz cap?" The answer is yes. I forgot about the B rank Wisdom cap. He just doesn't do enough damage to matter. The arena's all about one shotting things.
Yeah, like Mucifer could be good if like he could kind of be a really really freaking like if you're not doing insane damage, or have insane movement, your role is to be the Queen Slime, to be fast and take a hit to get them moving forward. And if Mucifer was really fast, maybe he could do that job. But like even though he's like a good unit for content because he's pretty beefy, he does good damage and he has MP for days, he just isn't an arena unit at all. Like there's no aspect of him that's actually good in arena.
I agree with that.
I thought it was interesting that there was only 5 Royal Reptiles in this guy's first week that he ran into, and he was a top player.
Yeah, I haven't been running into Royal Reptile. I think I fought one in these last 2 weeks. I just haven't seen him at all.
Him and Zoma are my MVPs. If it wasn't for those two units, like I wouldn't do anything. Like I think I'm number 70 right now. My box is just better built for this week because I don't have a good second A unit to use from last week. Like I had to use Armful, which, as you guys talked about, isn't that great. Just the best thing that I had. I have to use.
I avoid fighting him.
I have
but
to use
that's
a
it.
1 heart Hellion. I'm so upset that like I only ever pulled 2 Hellions, right? After all the money I've spent, and I have a bunch of
That's crazy.
I have a bunch of other like max awakened A units, just not the 2 good ones. I have a 1 awakened Bone Baron, 1 awakened Hellion.
I
So
mean, Bo,
we
Bo
can talk
Baron has the same issue as Lucifer, I think, though he just doesn't hit, but he can move a lot.
I don't think he's good.
Hellion. If we were to keep going down the list of units, I mean, he's not really overlooked, really. But I think Hellion has proven far and away the best A unit
Mm-hmm.
in Arena, if not better than most S units. He is insane. The fact that he's resistant to whoosh is huge. Um,
Yes, that's my
I
favorite thing.
mean, he just there's so much whoosh out there right now, right? Between Sly and Hard Dragwar and White King. Um, and then the fact that his main attack is physical frizz, and also his awakenings give him bonuses to that attack. He's actually the best physical frizz right now, and he won't do as much frizz damage as Elena, but just the fact that Elena is the way that she's designed, I actually think Hellion is still going to be better for Arena than Elena, just
But
because he has 4 movement, instead of a teleport, which Elena has. So Hellion is a son of a bitch. I hate going up against him.
and not even to mention that right, Hellion is. I know Laliet got unlucky. It sounds like, but like he's going to be way easier to awaken 5 than this new S unit, right? That's still going to be unreasonable for most people.
Yeah, he's a
Hellion has been
standard
on every
dragon.
one of my teams. I don't know if he's the best A unit, probably. The only other unit I've been impressed with is my Serpent, obviously, because I have a max awaken one.
That's not fair.
And he hits for like 600 damage and a big AOE with 4 movement. So he just wipes everybody when he attacks. But um, the being able to kill 2 units with 1 attack is pretty big. But that Serpent is squishy as fuck, so he could easily
Yeah,
cause you to lose points.
yeah, he is so squishy. So is Hellion, to be fair. But the thing is, though, the way that you want to use them, you're probably not going to charge first turn with either of those guys.
Yeah, you keep them
Um,
back for a turn, and then they
so
can get wherever they want.
yeah, and then I mean, Hellion, you're gonna use him to go against specifically like Dragwar or Baramos or hell, Metal Dragon or Lionheart or White King. That's his job, is to hunt those units. Whereas Boreal Serpent, he doesn't do as much damage as Hellion does against like if he's doing Hellfire Slash against White Knight, it's a one shot, no problem. Um,
Yeah. White Knight has like
whereas
400 HP. Even at like a good White Knight has got no HP.
Yeah. Whereas
But
Boreal Serpent is non-elemental, so you can't take advantage of it. So I think I would put Boreal slightly below Hellion just because he's even more squishy. He's not resistant to whoosh, and also he doesn't have the element advantage.
yeah,
But both of them are very, very good in arena, and I would say better than most S's.
I would say Serpent is like the king of mid-tier arena. If you're going up against fully awakened teams, he's just not killing them. But
Yeah.
like anytime you're going up against 1 awaken units or like God forbid 0 awaken units, like he's tearing those teams up. So it's definitely a unit that gets worse the more powerful your opponent is. But
Yeah.
if you have some good rerolls, like in your daily fights, you could just make instant work of some of these fights.
Dude,
Especially
Yep.
combined with Queen Slime. Like you can have Queen Slime pull something up and he can attack it first turn and still be kind of safe, especially if you have like the 3 range breath attack. And then him and Queen Slime together are quite remarkable.
right.
Nice.
This is how I rank them, and stop talking about your freaking Queen Slime Boreal combo that 100 people can use, like on all of global. Like
I didn't make a guide for it. I mean, but it's good. I like
it's
it.
going to be really good, but nobody's going to have it, right? So like Boreal to be good is like 4 awakens, and then you need to also have pulled Queen Slime. I just don't know how many people did both of those things. But
Not many.
the reason I have Hellion ranked higher is because I just think you're more likely to not only have a Hellion but have a higher awakened Hellion. Like I did 74 pulls, didn't hit a Boreal. Still salty about that. At least I have the 1 awakened Hellion, right? And he's my second best unit after. Actually, well, I don't know. He's probably just as good as RR, other than the HP issue, right? So like,
Yeah, I mean, Hellion is just like an all-star unit in the game in every content, right? Like, if you have Hellion, just like max him. Just do yourself a favor, right? He gets every 999 damage challenge done basically, even without scrolls. Like I don't know about literally everyone, but like that guy's an all-star for that. He's an all-star in arena. He's an all-star in like every fight in the game. Like maybe some EX fights he's not good in because you need to, have a long-term game plan and not just burst him down. But even then, if you have like a Leary Lout or something, guarding it, like he could do good in that too.
Do we agree that Bone Baron's garbage?
I mean, I don't. So like, here's the thing: all Magic users became way more garbage with the new rank up, right? Because their damage has now become way less relevant. They're good in content, like in the battle roads. Like I don't want any physical attackers in my battle roads because they hit like wet noodles because things have high defense. Where Magic doesn't worry about that. But yeah, I mean, I'll say Bone Bearing.
So Bone Baron, I don't think he's garbage. And so he has 4 movement, which is the defining feature of Bone Baron. And just the fact that a lot of popular units are weak to whoosh. He's a decent choice. I would put him in maybe the top 5 A units right now in terms of arena. Just because 4 movement is just massive. It's huge.
Yeah, I just don't think that's a fair comparison. Like, I agree with you, but I just think your statement doesn't mean a ton because it's just like A units aren't good right now in a unit in arena, so he doesn't have much competition. So like, but if we were to list all the best units in arena, I just don't think he's making a top 20 cut.
No, I mean,
Um,
one
Probably
v one
not.
Hellion, bro. I want to see Bone Bear in 1v1 Hellion. See who comes out.
Well, yeah, Hellion obviously wins that, but
Yeah, he
um,
does.
Like, obviously, my Bone Baron's only one awakened, but Hellion still is insane with one awakened. Bone Baron hits like a wet noodle, and obviously, most people have uh, a, a white knight, right, or a white king, if you like to call him that,
yeah,
and
his name is White King.
and he just does so much better. Yeah, it's too late. I'm balls deep on the white knight.
Right.
I mean, I don't think I've ever used Bone Baron myself, but also that's probably on me, so I'm probably not a good source for that.
Are we supposed to be using Emperor Slime? There was 11 Emperor Slimes that he saw.
I've
Um,
done a 180. I think Emperor Slime sucks.
please,
I don't want him
please,
for anything.
please use Emperor Slime. Everybody use Emperor Slime because I want to win very easily.
It's just
I
like
If you use Emperor Slime and one other healer, I'm fighting you every time. I've seen a couple Emperor Slime, Angel Slime teams.
I don't
Oh my God.
understand what Emperor Slime does in this. Like I know he's got multi heal, but it's like even in non-arena stuff, he still sucks. He just has 300 HP. What is he? He dies to everything.
He has almost 600 defense, which
He's
is I
still
think
yeah. So in arena, his defense is good, but it doesn't matter because he's gonna get hit by a magic caster. And
yeah.
in content, his defense is good, but it doesn't matter because they have 900 attack and they do 2,000 damage a hit or something without resistance. It's like he doesn't
Right.
do anything well that the stupid seahorse doesn't already do, right? Like cheer is kind of nice, but like I don't know. It's like for an S unit, I'm like he's he's like a half step above like Nightclubber for me, like in
Okay.
terms of when I'm actually gonna use him.
He is good. He can clear Prison Peacock for you and probably some other um, PvE content. But obviously, if you want to score highly in arena, don't bring Emperor Slime.
I
If
will
you
say I
want
don't
to
have a
troll,
scroll on mine, so that probably doesn't help.
if you want to troll people, then go for it. So
Oh my god, what would a Leary Lout, Stone Golem, Jargon, then just like Heal Slime, Emperor Slime? What would that comp do?
That would be a
I
comp that
kind of
no one would
um,
play against.
if
I know
if they
I want to watch someone fight it though with their free runs.
if so the thing is though, cover tanks, uh, that will be a meta someday. Mark my words. Somebody
Oh yeah.
will figure out how to kick serious ass on offense with a cover tank. It may not be Stone Golem. It may not be Jargon. It'll probably be something like the Scorpion that's coming up pretty soon, or the uh, white and red colored Leary Lout A version. He's a really good cover tank
An
in the
A
future.
Leary Lout? Oh my god.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
that's a dream.
He's got very good resistances and good HP, I think. Um, but so here's the thing: you have to actually, if they have 1 HP, then they're going to protect whoever they're covering from receiving any damage at all. So it's not like if you overkill the tank, then that damage goes on to the person they're covering. So,
Mhm.
um, you obviously don't want to do that on offense, but if you want to seriously fuck with people on defense, um, yeah, throw your stone golem with the healer, and chances are, I mean, there's no way that you'll lose against that team, but chances are you're going to have a much harder time getting a 2-turn clear.
Doesn't it the way it work in other content that if you overkill a unit with an AoE, the rest goes on to the other unit? Or
I
am I?
don't, no, with an AoE, yeah, but if you're just like attacking the tank, like all he needs is 1 HP to cover the other guy. You know what
Right.
I
Yeah.
mean?
If you're attacking with any
So,
physical unit on a single target or magical unit with a single target.
yep. And why does that matter? It doesn't really matter much in PvE because they usually use AoEs. But in PvP, and if you're on offense against the Stone Golem, chances are you want to clear in 2 turns, and so you want to kill everything, including the Stone Golem. You know what I mean? So it comes into play when you're on offense a lot more.
You're
I still don't think people should do it because you're not going to get points. Um, but if you're just a dipshit and you want to troll people, go for it.
listen. Sometimes there's teams that have room. Um, I ran last week Stone Golem a couple times because I just didn't have a second A unit that did anything. So what he did is he guaranteed that my Zoma would survive. So that's what I used
Yeah.
him for.
Mhm.
And if you don't have a top 50 account, you don't have these multiple awakened S units, you're gonna not one shot like these cover tanks. Like if they're at all leveled up. So like if a level 90 stone golem is not getting one shotted by really anything the average player has, which means he's going to cover your best unit for 2 turns, making it so they can't clear within 3 turns no matter what, really. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, still Golem, right? Doesn't he have like a decent attack too if you just gets close enough? Like he,
Yeah, he's decent account. You will kill Stone Golem in one hit with Kaswoosh or Slanehart or Jaguar's attack, or Reptile's attack. So
let's take a look at
Once
what's
once
his. I
once
want to take a
again,
look at his
I'm
HP.
going to correct you because you just have a way better account than everyone else. You're not going to kill him with the average person's version of all of those things.
oh no, yes you will. He only has 576 max awakened HP, and he's weak to zap. Even a 0 awakened Royal Reptile with +10 Thunder Slash will kill him in one hit. No problemo.
Through
That's also
425
not true.
defense.
Yeah, still not true. I have a 2 awakened plus. It might be +9 to be fair, but zapped, and he's not hitting for over 800, right? So you throw any kind of armor on him when he's level 90, all the way leveled up, and he's going to survive. Even Royal Reptile at 2 awakening with +9.
I mean, his
At 100
HP is kind of low at 80. Like mine's at 532, but yeah, it probably goes up to not quite 600, like you said, probably 570. But then 100 something HP on a sword almost, and he does have almost 500 defense. Like that is a lot of defense to go through for most units.
Yeah. I think most Kaswooshes will take him out, but
Well, like for example, like I can't do 700 damage with my White King at single awaken level 110. So I don't know how you're going to, because you said he can get up to over 700 HP, right?
yeah, with if you put all HP items on him, yeah. So
Oh, okay. Well,
I think this
maybe you had more of a case. Never mind. I thought you were saying that at level 90 he had like 700 HP.
no, at level 90 his base HP is 576.
Okay, so he's only getting up around 700. So I still wouldn't be able to kill him with my White Knight if he was at 700, but I could kill him with a Royal Reptile there. So just want to correct myself.
Yeah.
Let me just see how much HP I can get on mine at level 90. Just really quick here. Um, with mine at level 90, I get up to 732 HP with equipment on. And so he still has 10 levels and a rank up to go beyond there. So he'd be close. He'd be like 780, something like that. So he'd probably survive most
Yeah,
on,
Yeah.
again, in the average.
he's surviving everything
Well,
I
I
can
mean,
do.
like I said, there's going to be some kind of strategy or meta involving cover tanks that will be predominant at some point, probably. It's not going to be me that figures it out because I hate that tactic. Yeah. I love weird tactics. They're great.
Yeah.
That's why I put 2 orbs into my Great Dragon, and I'm hoping I don't regret it.
Dude, I hope your Great Dragon's good. Did you already double orb your Queen Slime?
No, I wanted to, but I have 1 orb left, and I didn't have enough slime pearls, so I was like, all right, I'll do Queen Slime tomorrow, because that's when the slime grind comes out.
Oh, I didn't
Hey,
even
Camila,
realize that.
I got about 10 minutes here. Let's are there any juicy topics that we have not yet started?
All right, let's look at so we did that, we did that, we did that. We did we did everything other than speed of content release, depending on what you meant by that.
Oh yeah, so I mean, it's kind of the same thing as what players expect. It's just kind of another thing that um, people have been, I guess, complaining about. And you actually have speed of content release being a complaint on either side. You have it sometimes it's too slow. Usually that's more dedicated players who say that. But more often than not, you hear that it's too fast. Like for example, when S6 came out, I actually did think it was too fast that they came out with S6. I don't know why they moved that up so far. Not complaining, it's more content that I can do, but um, you know, I don't understand what the mentality is behind things being so fast, more content, and then oops, I don't want you to release more content because I'm not caught up yet. Um, I think there is this kind of like I just really want to catch up to the top players because I'm newer or able not as powerful in the account. So stop releasing new content. Um, what do you guys think? I don't really understand that kind of mentality.
I'm kind of in the like I feel like content like in terms of events tend to drag on a bit too long. But I understand that I think it probably is still too fast if it makes sense. Like I'm trying to think of what the average player would think, right? Not the average player is playing this game every day and making YouTube videos like I am, right? Like I have a very different perspective on it. And so when I'm done with an event store or something, I've cleared all the event in the first 3 days. Like I don't expect everyone to do that. Certain things like so as far as events, I've always felt like they drag on a little long. Like everyone kind of was like Dragon Quest 3 is like, all right, here's another week of it. Okay. Everyone was kind of like, we've kind of finished this now. Or at least everyone in the Discord and stuff, right? Maybe there's a even way more casual audience that don't even get on the computer that haven't. But as far as like the on the opposite end though, like rank 6 or whatever just felt like way too soon to me. Like we never even got to use our rank 5 units in arena. Like we
Yeah,
didn't even get to experiment with rank 5 units to decide which ones we wanted to rank 6. We were kind of just like, all right, well, let's just start doing it because I want to, everyone like free to play whale. It doesn't matter. Everyone to some extent wants to be competitive. No one wants to be shit on when they go into a game mode. So they're
yeah,
gonna try to do something that's good. Um, so it just felt too soon. Like I don't think it adds anything to the game really. Like you said, they're not really needed for any of the content. It just is kind of I don't know. I'm just not sure why it's in here yet. The only thing it's affecting right now is arena, which would be the same if everyone had rank 5 units. Um, so I'm not really sure why it came out right when it did. I don't know when it came out in Japan.
Two
But
months later.
okay, yeah. I don't. I mean, on one end, it's kind of a positive as it's never going backwards, and now we know it's already here, and now we can plan out our S6s. Because we have 2 more months in terms of if you didn't look at Japan, you have 2 more months of already knowing it's out. So now you could save maybe more orbs and stuff instead of being out of orbs 2 months from now. Like I can understand that perspective, but also I don't know. I just don't feel like it really added anything to the game, and it added more frustration for a lot of players that didn't need to be there.
So yeah, I want to try to be respectful of the average player, right? So we have a different experience by far than they do, and I think the timing for us was fine, right? Because I had just maxed leveled all my guys 2 days before they did S6, so I was kind of fine with that. And also, by the way, don't rush leveling all your units and like wasting all your scrolls. Like save your scrolls, enjoy the grind of leveling your units and having like something to work towards. I know that Nib mentioned that having that carrot ahead of you is really motivating, but when you get it all done, it feels so empty. I didn't like the way it felt when I was doing levels and I couldn't get any experience out of it. But
Yeah.
for the average person, it is a little overwhelming with the content. But I think you just need to get it out of your head that you're going to have everything complete all the time because only the top like 50 players can do that, right? Like no one's really doing that, and just enjoy the game at your own pace.
yeah.
Yeah.
This you totally need to get that out of your head, and not even there's some stuff that I haven't cleared. Well, not really. But I mean, it took me a while to no, it took me a while to clear the battle roads. Um, so and I would say that it is kind of an empty feeling. Like I'm like, well, I guess I'm done with the game for now. So having goals is good. You don't underestimate that. I just wish the community would value that more. Having more rungs on the ladder to climb is good.
Right. And that's no
And
different than real life. Like people who live in their mom's basement and have no goals are not feeling fulfilled with their life. Right? That's why we have the hierarchies we have, such as like, you go to your job and you'd like to do well and maybe get promoted, right? That's motivating.
Yeah, and I think there's kind of a difference between like events and other kinds of content, like new battle roads. Like that's not going anywhere. When content comes out too fast and it's limited, that could be like where I like have an issue with it. Like the particularly bad example of when the game did this was giving us like 6 days for the Zoma EX fight, or whatever EX2 fight
Mm.
or whatever it was. Like that just wasn't enough time for casual people to get ready for this. Like you had to have already have been ready almost. It just was like too short of a time for like they could have put it out 2 weeks sooner, right? Like there's no reason to hold on to these EX fights at the last moment. It's not like it's like so overwhelming amount of content to add one optional EX fight to give us time to try it out. So that's an example of like I hope they don't do a whole lot of that with like such short, limited times in terms of that. Like if there's like a 1 week thing that's like fun to do and you get some extra rewards, that's one thing. But I don't know. I felt like it was purposely held out so people wouldn't be able to clear it, as opposed to trying to space out the content. To me,
Yeah.
you may now continue.
yeah, what I wanted to try and do today, with your guys' help, is we know that there is a kind of a pall over the DQT player base. It's getting better, but last week was a very chicken little, the world is ending sort of attitude about the game. I think it's a little bit better now that people are learning how to do arena and kind of settling into the new paradigm. But I would you guys agree or disagree with that? That there's kind of this dark cloud that's still kind of festering.
I would say that there definitely seems to be a bit more negativity, at least in the community, right now about the state of the game. And Malcolm has felt it, and like I felt it a little bit. My comments I've been positive. Like my YouTube is still doing fine, and there's no downtrends there. But I definitely understand that. Like I think Dragon Quest IV. I don't know when that comes out, but I think that's going to be a good like kind of back to the norm, right? It's more here's an event, here's a bunch of stuff, here's free orbs, event shop, same old, same old. Um, I don't know, but the game just like again, I just think the rank came out too soon. People weren't ready for that kind of commitment yet.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Last week was super stressful for me, right? So like, work was crazy. We had like the big corporate audit, and then this new content drop, and I felt like I really needed to produce content. And then I didn't have enough time to really do my first day arena matches, and I lost a match. And then the entire week, I just knew I was never going to do anything worthwhile in arena. And then I couldn't even get my 2 orbs until today. I got it like at the beginning of the podcast from getting the mini medals because I didn't have time to do the battle roads and stuff. So it was really stressful trying to maintain that whole like completionist thing because I had reached the pinnacle right before S6 dropped. Um, and then finally I just let go of all of it and said, who cares what leaderboard rank I am? Who cares about all this stuff? And that was what, two days ago, I think I told you, Platt. And ever since, I've been enjoying the game. So I was the reason I wasn't enjoying the game. And I don't know if that's the story for other players and their negativity and stuff. But as soon as you start figuring out, like, why am I playing the game? Am I doing it to have fun? Am I doing it to compete with Nib? I'm not. I'm never going to compete with Nib in this game. You know what I mean? Whether on a skill level, whether on an account level, nothing. There's no way I'm going to. So I just need to find the way to play the game that makes me happy, and I hope other people can do that and be positive. Because when I jumped in the chat like last night or whatever, or the day before, and like Laval was in there like spewing negativity about how the game's not supportive for free to play players and all this stuff, I just had to block him because I don't want to come in and deal with that.
I
Yeah,
sorry, go ahead.
um, Yeah, go ahead, Plaid. I had a longer point. So
I was just gonna say that like that's kind of the game has kind of evolved for us as we've come closer to completing the game. But like one of my favorite things about the game when it was brand new to me, was how so many players were playing the game differently. Right, there were people that were just monster collecting. There were people that were just doing battle roads. There were people that were just trying to grind the story to get that done. And there were people that were, just doing all these different kind of ways of investing your time. And now that we're like at the end of an MMO, right? We're level 60. We're just waiting for the new raid to drop. We're all kind of doing the same thing now, and so it could feel um like we're supposed to be doing something that we may not want to do. Like I feel like I'm supposed to be playing arena, and I'm like I don't really care for arena that much. It's like fine, I'm gonna do my daily matches, but it's not really the game mode that I like right now. Like I'm in love with the battle roads. I That's like super fun for me. Like I'm having more fun with the battle roads right now than I have in any other point previously playing this game. I'm actually sitting down. I played it for 6 hours trying to solve this stupid fucking how to make this Draki not die, and then I got to go grind this Draki. All right, so it gives you this checklist of things you have to do to solve this puzzle, which is fun. And so yeah, I just like you have to find what you like about this game, and I understand as you become a completionist like us, it becomes harder. Once you've cleared the content, because now we're all kind of like, yeah, I don't need to do. When I finish the battle roads, I'm not going to just keep playing them for fun. I've figured them out. And so like before rank 6 dropped, we were all just like, all right, when's the new event? When's arena? Because we're all just doing the same thing, grinding, 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 grinding for the sake of grinding. Um, and so it's kind of a right now. I do feel like this update it actually put the game in a good spot, even though people were negative about it, because it did add more things to do into the game, so people can kind of go back to playing how they want.
right on. Well, I guess if I could make an appeal to the community, anyone who's listening, um, you know, because as we have discussed, I can sound a little bit too vinegary in text, and I will be very upfront about this. That I've been pretty cranky in text in Discord. I think mostly responding to some just poorly supported hot takes that just people just throw out there, like this is that and this is that and we need this and that. And what I'm observing is we have a community manager, we have Malcolm, and his attention is finite. He cannot possibly hear all of the complaints, even in the feedback channel that we have open. So my appeal to the community is before you spew out your hot take, try and think about the larger impact. Does this impact more than just you and your anecdotal experience? Are you taking into account the developer? That's not a responsibility as players to like look out for them. But if we're going to be giving Malcolm feedback or giving ideas to the game, we got to be realistic. You can't just say, There needs to be more golden orbs in the game. Um, as much as that might seem like it's enough, it's not. It's not. In order to make it a good appeal, you have to say the why, and you have to come up with a solution that a developer would like. How do we? And what does that mean? It doesn't mean give me more stuff, give me more stuff, give me more stuff, because that's the easiest thing to do is just beg for more stuff, more stuff, more stuff, more gold, right? Is your idea taking into account, okay, how does this engage new players? How does this increase player longevity? How does this actually recruit new players? By the way, that's the biggest problem in the game right now is getting new players.
Mm-hmm.
So we probably don't need a million threads about how you can't name your monster's butt liquor and other names.
You can't name them
There's
crack. The word crack is banned, and that's a damage type.
and
To be fair, it was
that
combined
is
with the word fiend.
as incredibly important as the name your monster crack. Um, I would just ask that there are bigger fish to fry, and that if you're going to be pinging Malcolm about this stuff, just don't like, and don't ping Malcolm and say that you need more gold because that's useless information. They can't do anything with that.
That it's like yelling at the waiter because the chef messed up your steak, right? Like the waiter might be able to talk to the chef, but they didn't fuck it up. Don't take it out on someone that didn't have anything to do with it.
Well, I'll do you one better. It's that plus you're also saying I don't like the steak. Okay. Well, what
Yeah,
don't you like about it, and why? "Oh, I want it medium rare because it's more juicy, it's more flavorful. I don't want this burnt thing." That you can actually do something with, and so you can't just say, "I want more gold," or this, um, "I don't like the way Arena is." Okay, whatever. So I don't
I
know, just
can't think of a good way to fix Arena.
be respectful of Malcolm's finite attention, and understand that there's more than just you. There's a lot of other people playing this game, and there's also people working for Aiming and Square Enix who need to put food on their table as well, unfortunately. So,
Yeah,
um,
I mean, first things first. I'm a realist, but also remember that Malcolm is just a dude with a job, or dude or chick, I don't know. But point is, they're just
yeah,
a person with a job. Like I know you might want to think they're as into the game as you are, and that it's their whole life, but it's their 9 to 5. Really, is I'm not, and it's not saying they don't like the game, they're not invested in it, but like there's no doubt that it's a responsibility more than it is like a pure entertainment value, like it is for us. It's like going up to Steve Bloom and asking him questions about Big O, a show he's never seen just because he voice acted it. Like he doesn't know all these weird fan theories. It just like I don't know. Just like I think people will like just because someone works for a place, it means that it's their whole world. When I know that it means he has to be equipped with some knowledge, but like he doesn't need to. He's just a person. I don't know. Just remember that people are people. You know, he's basically in the service industry. And
right.
millennials are supposed to be known for being nice to people in the service industry. So definitely don't take anything out on Malcolm.
We don't even know if he's getting paid.
Yeah,
So,
it's true. It might be
Well, we do know
a
he's
thing,
getting
but
paid.
oh,
yeah,
we
I mean
do. Okay,
probably.
I didn't know.
All right.
Yeah.
I want to say 2 words that'll fix everything. Every problem that I've had in the game and anyone else has ever had. Battle pass. Make it happen,
Dude, the
Malcolm.
battle pass would be dope. I don't
All
ever think we're getting anything JP doesn't have, but that's just my opinion.
They need it. They need battle pass is the best way to monetize
I
a
agree.
game like this ever. And not only that, you have a free track and a paid track. And guess what? Every maybe you get like a little bit of gold in the track, and then at the end of the track for the free to play one, so people are free to play, you get like an orb, right? And then for the paid track, not only do you get the free track of the orb, you also get like a random S unit or something. It's like you could throw all kinds of shit. Give me brown experience scrolls for a level. I don't care. But like it's just such a good way to monetize a game. And
Yes.
the reason they said that they weren't sure about it is because it might interfere with the metal tact card because its tact points do X thing to get rewards. I'm like, and get rid of the fucking metal tact card. It
Yeah,
sucks.
just get
It's
rid
like
of it.
not
It's
the,
not
the
good.
Yeah,
it's
no one
not
would have a
the,
problem with that.
like the metal tact card is fine, but don't like I don't hate it, but like don't not use an amazing system to so you can keep your bad system. Just adjust and go with the amazing system. I don't think they're going to, but a battle pass would be, I think, phenomenal. I think it's just like it's a really really good way to get everyone to monetize the game. And like imagine if there was like an orb and like 10,000 gold at like level 50 or something. That's like the max level. Like suddenly when someone says they don't have enough gold or they need more orbs, it's like it's because you're not playing enough. Suddenly, like you get rewarded for playing the game,
That's true.
and everyone fills up their tact points in 3 hours anyway. It's like like it's not a weekly reward. It's a Sunday reward.
Yes, it's too short term of a solution, but two things. One, I think that we need something that's global exclusive to really set us apart from JP. This earlier meta that we're having in Arena is really nice because it just throws every like JP rank list out the window. They don't really matter anymore, right? Our meta is different and stuff. But if we got content that was exclusive to us, it would make us feel more like our own standalone game. It would make people probably less fearsome that they're going to close down the game because they produce something that's genuinely just for us. And if that one thing happened to be a battle pass, it would be very profitable for them at the same time. So I'm going to 100% stand by that idea.
And to
That's
double down on that, I'm sorry, just a final thing. And to double down on that, it also would help everyone with the catch up of the rate of the contents coming out, right? Like a little bit more. We'd get more stuff. We'd be paying a little bit for it, but it also will help them because they're putting out content faster for us than they are for Japan right now. So it would also help with that.
I totally agree. That's a fantastic idea. Battle Pass. And just one more thing to add to that. It'll create a middle class because there is no middle class right now. There's, the people that maybe get the passport and that's it. And then there's like, loser whales who are going to be divorced in half a year, like myself. And frankly, um, the game is not. It's actually not that friendly to. Okay, I'm gonna get killed for this. I know, but it's not that friendly to whales because it's extremely expensive to max awaken things,
Yes.
and that's the only thing that you get other than, you know, um, that's beyond other players that are like medium spenders. And I don't think that that's sustainable. I think that the people who have spent several $1,000s, like myself, I don't see myself continuing to do that long term. I know that a couple of others have already stopped doing that. A couple of other big spenders have. Um, if it was, say, gems were half the price that they are, um, then the company, are more people going to buy gems? Obviously, yes. Is it going to be double at least? I think yes, totally yes. If you could do one stamp in $100 instead of $300, for example,
Yes.
that would create a middle class because we don't have one right now, and you need one for a healthy game. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I
Well
said
said.
right like earlier on as like the game is really nice to free to play players, and on the contrary, it seems really unnice to whales. Like the
Yeah.
pity system is 30,000 gems, and it was just implemented, and that's for one copy when you need six.
Actually,
It
90,000 gems.
okay 90,000.
Yes.
It's ridiculous. Like it's ridiculously bad for whales,
Yeah.
and the middle class of the game is so you're either free to play or you spend the $5, or if you're the middle class, like you're saying, is when you buy the metal tack points, or the metal cards, like that, and that's like not that much comparatively as a jump. Like we need a better middle class. So like
Yes.
people know subscription Netflix, subscriptions like that. The passport I think is a good idea, but having something else like that as well, that every 3 months it renews, and maybe it's $20, maybe it's $30, get people in the door for something that they're getting $100 of value for $30. I don't know. Like there's a million ways to do a battle pass, and a million games have done it, and it always is positively received, unless it's like like Apex Legend season 1 was kind of poop. But like besides that, people love battle passes. They recognize them. They're household names. They expect it. They're not wondering what a battle pass is because
Yes.
Fortnite did all the heavy lifting for us.
Mm-hmm.
They understand free versus paid battle passes, and they understand that when they put in $30, if they play every day, they're getting more than $30 out. So everyone wants to buy it.
Yes.
It's. I don't know why they. I mean, maybe it's just not popular in Japan. Maybe battle passes aren't a thing over there. But I mean, even Genshin has a battle pass, right? How it's not even alien to the gacha community.
Right. Yeah. We should do it because right now there's two classes of player other than free to play, right? Which is you pay. There are probably some people who just do the $5, but it's basically you spend like $30, you get your tact point and your passport, or you spend $200+ because that's what it costs to get 100 pull. Right?
Yeah.
So that's
and,
your monthly budget. It's either 30 or it's like $400. That's too big of a
and
disparity.
and even then, it's the $400 players that are buying the $30 orbs every month too, right? So they also get another $30 there. None of the cheap players are buying that orb. Or I don't want to say cheap, but casual players are buying that monthly orb.
It's paid gems too. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I've bought two
For that
orbs myself. But like Nib said, the game is not friendly to whales. All right, whales they're throwing down big cash for limited rewards. Like even dolphins or small whales like me. Like when I spend $205 to get a single awaken, you know, Slion Heart, it's not even a unit that I get to use in the game right now. You know what I mean? I'll use them in like free to play, or sorry, regular event content, like story content. But I needed to spend another $205 if I wanted to be able to use them in arena. And I just wasn't in a position where I thought $410 for a Slion Heart was a fair deal. And unfortunately, I didn't understand, even though I know so much about statistics from like college and stuff, I didn't really understand how much I'd have to spend for the unit to be useful. And then, of course, I could just miss, right? I could do 200 pulls and not hit two Slion Hearts.
Yeah, easily.
Yep.
And like, and I think like in a way, like I think it's fair to be unfair to whales because like at that point, there's a personal choice that goes into it. Obviously, I know there's a whole like, some people have gambling addictions and blah. There's all kinds of things where maybe it's not 100% free will, but like I don't think it's not okay to not monetize the middle ground too. Like you need to monetize every step of the way for a free to play game. That's the point. Let the free players get in, and the heavy spenders pay for the free players to have access basically. Then you have light spenders, and then you have medium spenders, then you have heavy spenders, then you have ultra heavy spenders, right? And they're skipping all these steps in the middle. They have light spenders and super heavy spenders. And I don't know why they're not trying to get that his middle range just at least a little bit more. Like I there's just not enough options to spend money.
Yes, that is. If you have any complaint about this game right now, that needs to be your number one complaint. Is that like if you think that the game's going to fail for whatever reason, it should be because we don't have a healthy enough middle class player base. It should not be because they rushed S6. It should not be because we don't have enough orbs, right? None of those things are really valid in comparison. Like the one critique I think we all nailed it, could be solved with a battle pass. And if we got a battle pass over the next 2 months, then I'm all in. I think this game is the shit. I'm as happy as I could freaking be.
That would be great. Hey
I'm
guys,
with you
I'm on a
100%.
hard break here, but here's my plan. I got my new game coming out. I'm not going to advertise it here right now, but let's say that does really well. Um, I'm going to make my own gotcha company, and you guys are going to be like my idea guys. Unpaid internships, but um,
That's how
yeah,
I like my internships.
I,
yeah.
Free to play.
right, and
I
I
would
actually
actually.
I think you like well if you want to, you definitely can promote your game here.
Oh, well, sure. I'm developing. It's like Fire Emblem. And if anyone's ever played Ogre Battle, back in the day, anyone?
Yep, of course. And not
Oh,
not as
wow.
much as not as much as Final Fantasy Tactics though.
I thought it was making myself out to be a boomer with that one, but um, yeah, it's called Symphony of War, and it's been in development for about 5 years, and because we're developing a new engine, not just the content in the engine. So we'll be using that engine to make more and more sequels. That'll take maybe 1 year after that, but this first one is taking a really long time. So hopefully later this year it's coming out. It plays a lot like Fire Emblem, and yeah, I mean maybe I can talk about it more later as I get like demos and stuff up. But on the subject of making your own gotcha, I don't know what it is about the United States in which we live, but I've looked at projects involving gotcha development, and it's not a very robust um, development slash job market for gotcha games. They're all either European or Asian, and maybe that's because there's laws in this country, I guess, that sort of thing. I don't know. Like they make other types of free to play, like casino games and stuff like that, but not like role playing game gotcha type stuff. Um, Unless I'm missing something, but I don't know. Maybe I'll be the first. I don't know.
I have a question. How much money do you think, like just in terms of gotcha, this is how crazy they can get. Like how much money do you think Game of War Fire Age makes? That's a game no one's seen an ad for in like 3 years.
I have no idea.
Like that game was making millions and millions of dollars a month back, and like they had all these ads, but now I bet people are just playing it, right? Because once someone has $10,000 in a game, like what, are you gonna quit? Some do, but like
Jax would.
yeah, Jackson quit, no problem. He'd sell the account. Don't bullshit me.
Yeah, he would sell the account to somebody who is exactly as skilled as he is and likes the exact same username as he does.
I would totally buy the headcanon that Kage bought the account so he could be number 1 and 2.
All right. Well,
Well,
thanks.
we can't shortchange Alti. Alti has passed. He is the undisputed number one CP
Yeah, how
leader
can we
right
Yeah.
not
now.
talk about our boy Alti? He's up there. He's number one. And I was calling this for like I don't know 2 months now. I said this man is gonna be number one someday.
Yeah, I mean you're right. You know, there's no doubt no one could stop Alti. Alti's gonna remain number 1 as long as he wants it, for sure.
Yeah, he's probably the richest person that plays this game. I don't know. But I love how he just pops into the channel and he just says a couple of things casually, like, "Oh, I don't really play this game that much," and then meanwhile he just fucking destroys everybody. Like,
Is he single? You know, let me know if he's looking for a sugar daddy, or he could be my sugar daddy rather.
he's a sugar daddy. You would be what do you call it? The sugar
Sugar
cat,
bitch.
The
I don't
sugar
care. Call it
boy?
what you want.
Like
sugar kitty, like that.
I'll be the sugar bitch. I don't care.
I love
He
Alti.
bring the assets. That's fine.
He's
Sugar baby, that's the term.
he's wealthy and he's just like a cool chill person to hang around, and those are my favorite people. No, I'm just kidding. But
Oh,
I
sorry.
always find it interesting when people are doing really well and still kind, because I think I just grew up under this idea that wealthy people were cruel, right? So I like disproving my own personal ideologies.
Dude, I hope he flies us down. Let's all party, man. We'll Dragon Quest Tact it up.
I don't know if we can get into China that easy.
Is he in China?
Oh,
Yeah.
he might have, yeah, he's Chinese. He might have connections. We can do like a Shenzhen red light district party or something with Alti.
He's on next week, right?
Yeah, we got him next week.
I'm excited to talk to him. I didn't even know that he was Chinese. That's gonna be cool. I love expanding my horizons. I don't get a lot of chances to talk to people around the world.
Aldi's a crazy cool dude. He also he came to America to go to school for a little bit, right? And he was 3 hours away from me when we would like
Whoa.
not when we were in high school because I'm a bit older than him, like 6 years older. But at one point he was like 3 hours away from me, and I didn't know it.
That's cool. Yeah, I'm excited. He's always been. I will say he's a man of few words, but he's been cool.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, you and Nib are like neighbors.
That's true. Like just down the street, right?
Pretty much, yeah. I keep seeing these guys with black beards and white hair, and I'm like, hey, is it Platt? Yeah,
Is it?
And they keep.
Could-
I have a lot of restraining orders around town now. So.
If you need a home loan, I know people. That's my whole business.
Good to know. Good to know. Too bad, where we live. Good luck buying anything. But anyway,
Hey man, you could rent for only $3,000 a month. That's not too bad.
I'm sure.
That's ridiculous. But
That's an exaggeration, but it is bad.
all right.
Right on, guys. I gotta go. Thanks for this.
Yeah,
It's
thanks
fun.
for your time, man. Always good to hear from you. And have a good night, man.
Yeah, you too.
All right.
What an asshole.
I gotta fix Platt real quick. All right, because there's a couple of things I don't want to keep you for too long, but I mean, but I want to know, have you been getting effed over by people using paralysis or any status effects? Because I have.
I almost got completely boned on. I think my very first. I don't think I lost, but it was so close. I was like one turn away. It's because they had an armful, and I was like, all right, I don't know. I'm just gonna go in there and kill. And he just paralyzed Slineheart. I'm like, oh shit. And then he paralyzed another unit, and I'm like, what the fuck? Yeah, and he completely. I mean, I won, but I mean, I got like 80 points, like 84 points.
Yeah.
Like I got nothing out of it.
So,
Yeah, sleep hasn't been too big of a deal for me.
no.
The putrid breath guy always does putrid breath. He doesn't like using his sweet breath for some reason.
Mhm.
I don't know why, but he sucks AI. Armful though is a bitch, no doubt.
Dude, Armful, when I play against him, he finds my Zoma, and he paralyzes it.
He has an effective range of 5, right? Because the breath
Mhm.
is 3 deep. I just avoid fighting him, right? It's not worth it to me because I'm gonna make a mistake, or I'm not gonna account for that he could shoot 3 to the left and my guys to the left because I'm only thinking one. I'm thinking 2D or something. So Armful is a sack of crap, no doubt.
And the funny thing is, like, we were talking about how Armful's like not that great, whether that's why I've been using him for on my team last week, right? So it'd be like, where's the Zoma, or where's anyone super weak? So I just check the guys, like, oh, who's super weak? And then I'm like, you're my target. I'm just gonna paralyze you and take you out of the game for a round. And it doesn't get you a 2-round win by any means, but it can secure a 3-0, right? 3-turn, no death.
That's my biggest issue with Arena, like as a game mode, is I don't know how to fix it, but making the turn timer longer, or I don't care about the survival bonus. I think that's reasonable, but the turn timer makes the Arena so hyper specific. If you want to get number 1, which everyone, believe it or not, no matter how hard, you don't want to be shit on. You want to try to get as high in the leaderboard as you can if you're spending your time doing it. Having that 2-turn limit is just is brutal. It takes away the fun of team comps. Like you can't do these fun, tanky, weird ideas. You can't turtle, which I guess is maybe part of the aspect of it. But even things that could reasonably get 3-turn kills, exact like you said, like it's just like, oh, that's not optimal.
Yes.
I don't know why they did it that way. I mean, I guess it's because whales have the max awakened Zomas, right? They can do that, and so it's a little bit maybe it's the way they thought it was the best way to make it skill based, but still make it whale based, where you can have a huge advantage as a whale. Because the difference in getting 222 or 224 and 228 every fight is getting first and getting in top 100 or something like that.
Yeah, you can get
That-
top 100 with getting 360 every day.
Yeah, and that's okay.
120.
So that's 120 each fight. Yeah,
So you can go 3-0. If you go 3-0 every time, you'll be top 100.
and you don't even need to get you need to get top 50 to get a gold trophy. I don't even know what the trophy's for. If it does anything or it's just cool. It's not cool, but I mean, if it's just thing that goes in your inventory and you get 10 and you get a feat, maybe.
I was told we get a sticker from collecting enough of them.
Okay, I mean,
I'm,
you know,
I'm glad it's
the
not, and the truth is you don't get a ton more medals, right? For like number 1 gets like 300 more medals than like number 499 or something, right? It's not like a ridiculous amount.
yeah. Well, and it's important to remember no one's getting number 1. One person is. So like,
Yeah.
I think it's only real to practice. Like even the top 50 is kind of what I would compare it to.
Yeah.
Is it top 10 gets more, or top 50 is the highest bracket besides number 1?
I don't remember. I know top 10 gets a different number of trophies or
Okay,
whatever, but I don't think it
it's
changes the number of medals.
it's a fucking mobile game. I just look. I don't know why I insist on making these speculations. The rankings here. Let's go to rewards. For so rank 2 through 10. So yeah, sorry, rank. We'll just go 2 through 10 as the reasonable highest, I guess, which isn't even reasonable.
No, it's not reasonable.
600 medals, and if you're in the top 500, you're gonna get 250 medals.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
it is gonna be pretty big. But let's say top 100 is reasonable. That's 400 medals. Top 500, which is easy. Not I won't say easy, but comparatively to me, it's gonna be easy as long as you win all your matches. You get 250, right? And I mean, I know it adds up over time, but it's not gonna make or break you. You're getting more from ranking up probably than you are from, well, maybe not more, but you're getting about 50-50 from ranking up versus ranking.
And to put this in perspective, I lost one match, and I did an entire day of 60 point matches instead of 80, and I still got 300th. So getting top 500 is literally easy. And I ran the numbers afterwards, and you could have got top 500 if you would have got perfect on 60s every single day.
I wish it wasn't easy. Like,
We just need more
I
players.
I wouldn't mind if there was 50,000 players competing, right? Like I know I'd get less rewards because more people would beat me, but again, there's no doubt the active player base seems to be relatively small, or at least not engaged in arena. I don't know what metrics to go off of.
There's
Every metric I could think of you.
1,000 arena players last week.
Okay. Which I mean, that's not I think that's bad. I'm trying to think about it. Like that sounds like a big number, but I think that's bad. Like it's hard. Yeah, every metric you can measure the size of the game by, besides profit, comparatively to player base, I think is like, I mean, even profit comparatively to other games, but like, I don't know, it's just like it's small, right? We're not a super big game.
We're not a big
I don't want to go off my YouTube numbers, but right, like, there's not that many people searching for content. There's not that many people doing arena, and that's fine. It doesn't need to be the world's biggest mobile game. Like I'm having a great time with it, and it's a phenomenal game. Once they fix the monetization a little bit, but it would still be nice to see a way bigger player base.
Yeah, and here's another thing. All right, so I played a lot of small games and have been like a top player, like usually number 1 or 2 in these card games, right? So like Lightseekers is one of them. The RuneScape had a card game. I was like number 9. So
That's cool. I never knew that.
RuneScape shit the bed. That game only had like 3,000 active players. So
More than Artifact.
I don't know if that's true, but
Artifact had 50 players, active players, and then they shut it down permanently.
no, that's not true. They had over 50 paid players.
Yeah, I mean, Artifact at a point just it shat the bed. Unfortunately, I
Yeah.
love that game too.
Which was weird because like they had a huge player base, but then they all left, right? So that
Mm.
can happen too.
Oh my god, this isn't about that. You continue what you're saying while I look up something on the podcast. I'm listening, but I want to show you the numbers for it. It's really sad.
So Lightseekers will be my example here. So Lightseekers is still running right now. You can go play it. I have a couple videos on my channel if you really want to look at the game. They originally were kickstarted as a weird like it's supposed to be toys that interacted with cards that interacted with an RPG game. So it's kind of like a mobile version of what's the Spyro game series? Skylanders? Yeah, something like that.
Skylanders, yeah.
Only with fully articulated action figures, and I actually have some out on the porch, but I'm not going to run out there and go get them. They're really nice quality action figures you can get nowadays for like $6 because no one wants them because the RPG got shut down. The card game survived somehow. Then they made a digital version of the card game, and the original idea is that they would be holographic cards that if you look through your camera, they came up with this patented technology over in the UK where there'd be tags that make a 3D object appear out of the card, right? And they originated this technology for shopping. So you'd go into a store and you'd scan the barcode, and there'd be nothing on the shelf, but it would put the shoe on the shelf, and you could see the shoe 3D if you go around in your phone. Cool stuff, right? So the cards
That's really cool.
did that stuff. Well, the mechanics were cool, so the card game caught on. They only had about 5 to 10,000 active players the entire time, even probably going to today. And everybody I know left the game. And you can still go play the game for free on Switch, on mobile, whatever. And they're surviving, making enough money off of 5 to 10,000 active players. So as long as we can stay above 26K active players, we're not getting shut down anytime soon, unless profits drop, right? That's what they're worried about, is how much money the game's pulling in.
Which again is why the middle class is so important. You know, it's kind of sad because this game is like so good and so fun, and it is so free to play friendly. But I know that fucking My Hero game is gonna come out, and it's just gonna like crush everything for. Oh, I don't know if it's gonna be long term, but like for a month, like it's gonna do Genshin numbers. I bet for like a month, and Genshin is God. Just sometimes a gotcha comes out, and everyone in the goddamn world plays it. It makes $100 million in a week and shit. And then like such a good IP comes out like Dragon Quest. It's a phenomenal game, and we're like happy to have 30,000 players. The fucking West sucks, man. What is up with us? Why do we hate Dragon Quest?
Well, let's also be honest about the fact that this game is not that appealing to the average person. This is a strategy game, and it's not even a true collector game because it's not even made for you to collect all the units, right? So
Yeah,
people who come
it has
in,
the skin of that, but it's not really like that.
right? People who come in thinking it's a Pokemon collector game get turned off by the fact that it's not. People who come in thinking it's a Pokemon collector game and don't like the strategy aspect don't really want to learn the strategy because they're not trying to play a grid-based strategy game. So it's in this really awkward state where it doesn't provide any waifus right now. And even the waifus it does provide are not super sexualized and lollied and all that stuff. And I don't want that to be the way it is. But I'm just saying, if you're talking about things that draw people into games, those are the type of things that do. So this game does have a naturally mature and niche audience. And we've benefited from that a lot. But we're never going to be a Genshin Impact because of it.
Oh yeah, not even close. But I didn't want humans in the game, and I still don't personally. But now, like, for the good of the game, I think I do. Like that just I want to draw more people in, and stupid fucking humans that people recognize that aren't monsters are gonna draw people in, right? The waifus from 5, whenever that comes out, and everyone gets a free waifu potentially if Japan is correct.
Yeah.
And that the first humans coming out, we just got the human orbs today, right? Like I'm excited. I'm not excited personally because I don't care about those units, but I'm excited that it might get other people excited for the game in a way. So that's cool.
I think we'll have a big uptick with the waifus. As to what type of players that pulls in and whether or not those are people I really want to hang out with and stuff. Secondary kind of conversation, right? But I want more players in the game. But I'm happy with the community that I interacted with right now. Like, I don't need to interact with more people or whatever, but the game needs more people and more money to survive.
Agreed. And obviously, as a content creator for the game, I'm biased. I want this game to have 10 million downloads tomorrow, and I want everyone to have to look up a starter guide and to me get 100,000 subs. Like, I want that, but obviously, that I just don't think that's going to be what this game is, and that's fine. Like, I'm playing the game because I like the game, not because it's a cash cow for me, right? But I don't know. It's just interesting to think about.
And we're both going to be playing My Hero, right? And My Hero is going to get a lot more numbers, right, than this game is. And maybe we can pull some people over from those games. Like, I'm probably not pulling anyone over, and I might not even make videos about My Hero, but I'm going to play in my personal life and go watch all your videos on the subject, and I'll be commenting and making sure people know that Dragon Quest Tact is a game that maybe they'd be interested in.
Yeah, I mean, it's got a lot of I mean, the gameplay wise, obviously I hear it's going to be way different. It's going to be a lot like Genshin. It's going to be this open world action RPG kind of thing. Hopefully it has its own PC client just like Genshin does. Don't know if it's that level of
It
budget
will
or
not
anything.
have that.
All right. Well, I mean that's unfortunate, but BlueStacks, right? Hopefully if you can hopefully you can log into it from two accounts or from two different devices. That'd be nice. Um
Hmm.
but regardless, it's I don't know if the content as much crossover, but I feel like the IP actually is surprisingly similar in a lot of ways. Like I know it's more like Naruto and stuff, but the game it has a lot of charm to it with a little bit of seriousness, a lot of silliness as well. It's I think that people that like the IP of My Hero probably like the IP of Dragon Quest, even if they're not aware of it.
Yeah. So a couple of things you probably go over. One, the My Hero game is not an open world one like Genshin. It's a closed world one, so it's level based. You can run around within the level, but there will be different levels. You won't be able to go seamlessly from place to place or anything, and you'll have like a closed little world for your level. You beat the level, you go back to your main world, which is kind of open. And I don't know enough
Okay.
about Genshin to know if that's how it actually is. I know there's dungeons in Genshin, so I guess if you look at it that
Gen-
way, it's very similar.
Genshin is like legit just like a Breath of the Wild kind of world where it's very, very big.
Hmm.
Whether or not it's rewarding to explore it or whatnot, you can debate. However, if you like just looking around, it's pretty awesome looking world. But then you can go into like dungeons. It's more like there's like these shrines around like Breath of the Wild. I mean, there's a reason it was called a Breath of the Wild knockoff. I don't think it's better than Breath of the Wild, but it definitely is super heavily inspired from that. Genshin's pretty unbelievably phenomenal for a free to play game. Like, there's a lot of problems people have like losing their lives to pull in waifus and shit like that. Like, I get it. And the game it might be manipulative or might not be generous. Like, I don't know the in depth of it, but like the free to play player experience for like 70 hours is ridiculously good. You could just play and kick the shit out of things with a cool story, fun exploration, flashy abilities. Like, it's a remarkably good game for a free to play game at the very least.
I
I'm sure
enjoyed
it when
I enjoyed
I'm
the
sorry, I
five
was done.
hours. I enjoyed the 5 hours I played.
Yeah, I'm hoping My Hero is like a big hit. In fact, I would probably be playing Genshin now if I was creating content at the time I was playing Genshin, which I was, but I wasn't. I was still kind of like, I'm not gonna make mobile game content. Dragon Quest really pulled in, and I love this game, so um, that's why I'm doing it now. And now I'm more open to it. So I'm hoping My Hero is a big hit and that everyone likes it. But if it's a shitty game when it comes out, I'm not gonna just like lie to everyone and say it's good, right?
No,
I'm not gonna.
absolutely.
You got to be honest. Like I like this Gaia, but I'm not making that much content on it right now because it's just the game is insanely time consuming, which
Mm.
is just hard to fit into my life. And even beyond that, the things that I'm doing are just not at the high level that people are gonna watch content for. Like, yeah, I can make guides for I don't know, fucking how to grind the item level. That's been people were doing 3 weeks ago. So it's unless you're spending money in that game, I don't feel like you're on the forefront to make content. But I'll probably make like a few poll videos or something whenever I do that.
Yeah, and I mean it's always good to have a second game for someone like you who's working on a career and stuff. But I think people overlook the novelty effect of gambling based games, right? So things that come in are going to have a huge uptick, right? Initially, especially if they're
Yep.
well advertised or if they have a big IP behind them, like this Gaia, and then they're going to fade off. Like, and normally it's 1 to 2 months. So like 1 to 2 months into a game, you probably are looking at 10% of your downloads as your player base if you're a great game. You know what I mean? So
Oh yeah.
what's our downloads even? You know what I mean? Like our downloads for West, I think every platform combined is 5 million ish, right? So
Just is that just the West?
well,
Let me look
sorry,
up.
global. It's global, but when I say West, I really mean global. Sorry. So global off of all platforms, I believe is around like 5.5 million. So if that's the case, 10% of that, right, would be 550,000 active players, and so we don't have that much, but we have at least 26k active players. And what do you even consider active, right? Like hard to
Yeah, I mean, there
define.
might just be a lot of people that didn't bother with Arena because they just don't have the units or whatever. It's not unreasonable to think that someone wouldn't want to do Arena because they're just not interested in it. Because, again, like you're getting into when you talk about games like this, like most of the audience is hyper casual, checking in every now and then while, they're on maybe not on a plane, but they're just like carpooling somewhere or something like that. Not everyone is even going to be on for the week Arena came out. So even if we had 26,000, I mean, it would be awesome if it was 500,000 in Arena. But even if we only had 26,000 in Arena, I mean, I don't think it's unreasonable that that's like a tenth of the audience actually, and that maybe we have closer to 250,000 players.
Yeah. And I think if you're talking like a monthly login basis, I think we'd be much closer to like that 250, 300,000 level. I just think as far as like daily users, I think our daily user count is probably somewhere around 5 to 8K. Those are your hardcore players.
People that are logging on every day, yeah. Like I haven't missed a day since the game started, right? And how many other are like that? Like out of the 8,000 that play daily now, maybe there's only like 2,000 that have played every day since day one, if that,
Yeah, exactly. But overall, I think it's cool that like you and me switched positions this week. Last week you were the one loving Arena and really enjoying it, and this week I'm the one loving Arena and enjoying it. The issue was didn't have enough time to get my hands on it and understand it. And when you don't understand Arena and you don't have a 3-move killing machine and a 3-move Slying Heart, I think Arena is genuinely hard to enjoy.
It's just hard in general too. Like I'm lucky when I get 128 points. That's not going to be my average. Even with like, I won't lie, Queen Slime's made it a lot easier for me. Like she's made Arena more fun for me because one, it's a weird unit that not many people have, not many people use, and so I have a bit of that novelty effect that I'm like, I get to use that meme. That's why. So I like that aspect of it, but also doing good on Arena is fun, but it's difficult. Like my Zoma doesn't one shot everything, right?
No, absolutely. Like with Psycannon, Psycannon doesn't one shot a ton of stuff.
Yeah, like I have mine plus 10 and a dupe Zoma, and most things still live. Not with much HP, but I usually need to clean it up still.
I think when we hit 110, we're gonna start one shotting stuff.
I think so. The wisdom will be good.
So
plus, I might even switch because right now I'm using the glacial dagger, which doesn't have that much wisdom. It's only for the crack damage.
I've been using
and maybe just straight wisdom
dagger as well. Maybe that's just incorrect for us to use when we're not going to be hitting for weakness. And actually, I think you're still one-shotting stuff right now, if it's weak to crack without the bonus stats.
I'm doing more crack damage than I am with the other one, obviously with weakness. But yeah, it could hit for like 900, 1,000 or something when it's got brilliance. For me right now, which is great. Like no, Zoma's probably my best unit. Like that's why I spent an extra $200 trying to pull a third Zoma, and I fucking didn't. I didn't pull shit. I got a great control though, which I think is actually a pretty good unit, but not necessarily an Arena. But yeah, I'm gonna next time I'm gonna try to dupe Zoma at the 6-year anniversary event. Maybe I get lucky, and I'm gonna spend my medal points. I don't know if I want to spend my points on a Zoma or if I want to get an Awaken of Queen Slime. I should do Zoma, but man, I want Queen Slime Awaken now.
I spent mine on Zoma. I don't know if it was worth it or not, but I did.
You got an Awakened what?
Awaken 1, right? So, and then I have +9 on the Psycannon and +10 on Glacial.
Yeah, I don't even know why. I mean, I guess I know why I +10 those. I don't remember when I did it. That seems to have been done pretty fast because they're both +10 for me.
Yeah, and that's fantastic. I mean, getting +10 sucks. Going from 9 to 10, like, it takes on average, I think, like 200 books.
And I think it's even worse now with the skip feature, and that might seem that makes it better, but I don't realize how much resources I'm spending because I'm just going through it so fast. So I was like, oh, I just spent 15,000 gold. Oops. It's like, was that, I wouldn't have spent that much gold if I had to sit there for every animation. So it's in a way for C stuff and it's fine. But like on the A stuff, like being able to bypass the waiting makes me just spend the money faster because I'm like, all right, let's just keep going. And that's a personal issue, of course, but
absolutely. All right.
I think it's funny.
Well, I got to finish my nightly duties on the game because I haven't really gotten stuff done. But this was an absolute blast, as always. Thank you again to Nib for coming on. Thank you for Platt for hosting this on your channel, as always. And I feel really good about where the game is going, as long as we get 2 or more orbs. And I thought we were getting tomorrow the Dragon Quest IV event, but it doesn't look like it, right? We should have got an in-game announcement by now.
I think so. I don't know when. I mean, it's already. I don't know. We haven't had an event in a long time. Arena's been out for over a week. You would think that this would be the time to start it up, but we'll see. Yeah, as I like the way the game's going. As long as they give us 2 orbs relatively easily, and hopefully a 3rd orb for some difficult challenge, and then add a battle pass. You don't need to add the battle pass, but I think it's just.
Yeah,
I
if you really
think it's
want
such
to.
a smart idea.
Yeah, I also think it would help the game explode because people, once they feel invested in the game, they play longer, right? So if they get that battle pass, they play at least to finish the first battle pass, and now they're sort of invested at that point. I think,
And it's
great.
so easy. All you have to do is add some experience number, like plus 20 experience to each daily quest and plus 100 experience to each weekly quest or something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like people will be coming back every day to complete it. And obviously make it so you have to show up and do the daily quest every day to get to the max level.
Mm-hmm.
Like that just kind of maybe give them like a day or 2 of leeway or something in case someone's sick, right? But like, yeah, it just I like Fortnite. Like you can think what you want about Fortnite, but the battle pass was genius. Like it's such a great monetization model that is a way to make tons of money, make no one mad, and get a bunch of value for everybody.
Yeah, my son's addicted to the battle passes. Wants it in every game he plays now because he just sees the value. How can you not want the value? $100 worth of stuff for $10, Dad? Come on.
We're losing money on this deal.
That's right. So
every time I go to the grocery store, my girlfriend's like, "Look, we saved $30 on our groceries." I'm like, "No, we spent 70. We spent 70. Don't let them trick you. We saved 0."
That's great. And if they don't even have Dragon Quest IV this week, I'm okay with it because I have so many battle roads I need to do. I also want to find a way to get the mini medals. I still need to grind out all of the levels, right, for those free levels in battle roads, right? Lots of tapping to be done, man. So I'm not even upset if we get an extra week just to chillax. It would be cool if they kept, if they put out like a story, a ×2 story again. I know you'd be so fast, but like I'd be cool with a ×2 story. They'll probably give us equipment or something garbage like that. But
yeah, I mean, as long as they have a campaign, that's fine. I was actually thinking about farming equipment because I never have. Not really. Like maybe it's like at this point, if we have a week off and I'm doing battle roads, if mostly in my free time, I'll probably spend stamina maybe on doing a little bit of weapons, right? I don't know. Like I would be okay with it.
yeah, I'm still
It's
missing
garbage,
2
but I'm okay
of
with it.
the weapons, so I need to get them.
Make sure you get the swords. Obviously, those are all super important because they're just huge HP
Yeah,
weapons. I use the swords all the time.
I'm missing 1 sword. Yeah, I just got the crack sword today, so pretty excited about that. But all right, I really got to go before I don't get off because I enjoy talking to you so much that sometimes I just get carried away.
Hey, you know what? I don't have to go to bed for 4 hours, so you better get going.
All right. Thanks for everybody who stopped by, and signing off. This is the Dragon Quest Tact podcast.
See you later, guys.